Hey,
Hi. I
how
think,
is everyone?
yeah, I think most of them are still with Baker right now.
Yeah,
They should be just about done.
they're doing the sentencing now, so
Right.
yeah, it was near the end.
I should stream snipe him.
That'd be fine. It was the family's awesome. I love them.
Yeah, I like that they
Yeah,
were short and sweet and they weren't,
and they were like using his words to mock him.
yeah, well, and they weren't like overly,
Yeah,
they weren't just trying to be gross to him. They were, I'm going to pray for you. And
yeah, which
so,
like would piss him off 100 times more.
for sure.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, didn't he? I wasn't like watching. I was listening. And did he stare down the daughter?
yeah,
What a creep.
I know.
Oh, Christine's here. Hi, Christine. I don't know if we should start it now or I guess
Um,
I don't think that the first witness is Sarah Johnson.
okay. Oh, we're okay.
Yeah.
We're doing Mathew Moore. Um, no,
Yeah.
I'm between Chandler Halderson and Jensen, and
What stream are we doing today?
I know.
Can add it up here.
I'm so excited. I heard back from Kenosha.
You're not excited. You're Salvador.
I'm ecstatic. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, apparently the what I don't know for sure, but I believe what the like his whole hard drive that the computer forensic or the
Mhm.
files the computer forensic analyzed is in a apparently is not able to be copied outright.
So they're working on getting it so it's
Yeah,
able to
she
be?
had to contact IT.
And do you know that the D's are on there?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe
But
you.
yeah. Well, it's the uh no, I'm okay right now,
But it's his
Christine.
computer.
Yeah. And it's the files that the computer guy analyzed, so or the exhibits he analyzed.
Right. I'm gonna
So thoughts and prayers.
talk to Christina. I'm gonna go live alert this. Hey,
Okay.
is it on there so you were able to share it?
Oh, yeah, I will.
Okay. I clicked
Completely forgot.
the button, so
Yes, no, it is there. You are absolutely right. You're a good egg.
yay! I saw it too when I was clicking around
Oh yeah.
this weekend, and I saw it, and then I didn't. But then I didn't do it.
No worries. Yeah, let me set that up.
I think it just stays on now, doesn't it? Until I turn it off again. Because I went in and did it, and then I came back in later, and it was still clipped. So
Yeah, I think it stays on.
awesome. There. Do that. Wunderbar. Hi, Mel.
E.
Oh, always, Christine. I'll actually throw that.
And yeah, I was watching some interviews, and apparently Mathew Moore, understandably so, was not a easy client. Like he was very demanding, and understandably so.
Right. Oh, his
But
life's
like
on the line.
yeah, but he wanted to be like involved in everything and like know what question she was going to ask.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
she's not like the kind of person that like she plans, but like it's kind of a go with the flow type of thing.
Right.
So he's
she thinks quickly on her feet.
Yeah.
And if you are somebody that doesn't, that kind of interaction can sometimes butt heads.
Yeah. So I understand why. So it's just an interesting tidbit. Yeah, especially if you're innocent and
right, and you know that I can't even imagine.
Yeah, your rest of your life
like
is
it always reminds me of Zach's
yeah
statement to the judge. Like, I don't even know. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I never thought I'd be in this kind of position. Like, being sentenced for unaliving someone I've never even met.
Yeah. And then trusting, like putting all your trust in the hands of another person, a
Yeah.
lawyer, who,
Right.
you know, and they are not, you know, they have to prepare for your case, you know, like with Sarah Boone, well, you're not talking to me. Well, you're preparing for the case.
Right.
And
Well, and she
they
just
can't.
wants him to be with her 24 hours a day. So
That, yeah, she's not very reasonable.
I'm your attorney, not your babysitter.
Yeah.
She'll
hire an investigator to track him down.
She did, didn't she? Or she tried to. That is like, kudos to that PI, because that is like amazing. Like, yeah, I'll find him for you. Like, they can't tell you anything anyway. So, yeah, give me your money. Like, I'll call your lawyer's office and so he can tell me, sorry, I can't tell you anything. Get that grift. I'm just gonna look and see. I think it should be muted. Yeah, they're still going.
No worries. I'm looking up to see if there's any new Sarah Boone stuff.
Oh.
I don't know if there is. I just check every few days.
Yeah. I usually check when Mo is like, hey, is there any more Boone letters?
Yeah. Yeah, those are my favorite.
I love her handwriting.
I know.
Like, I'm going to be her pen pal just to get her handwritten letters.
Right?
She's got time. It's better than Sal's. I don't want to be your pen pal.
Oh, fine. Better than Mark Jensen's.
Is it? I haven't really looked at his a whole lot.
Oh, his is awful.
I'm more listen when you were reading stuff and.
Oh yeah. No, it took me like 30 minutes to just be able to start like recognizing patterns and understanding it.
Right.
Now I'm an expert, but.
So should I play this thing? It says we got 5 humans here now.
Let's just give it another minute or two.
Okay.
See who else. I just find it funny that when she's convicted, Steve Gosney might be able to work on her appeal.
Oh, are they in the same?
I don't know. I mean, he's Florida. I don't know.
Yeah, it would have to be. It's
in the same county
or the same district or whatever. However they do it.
Cat's doing. I come home, my camera's knocked off my monitor, cables are unplugged from my computer. Jesus Christ. And then I thought, oh, I know. To prevent them from scratching the mirror, I'll just put boxes on my bathroom sink.
How'd that work?
They started playing with the boxes and moving them and like making just as much noise. So I threw Babu out of the room.
Did you write to Jensen yet?
No, not yet. No, I need to get with you.
I know. Every time we always end up talking about other stuff.
I know. But I did, Josie, hear back from Becky in Kenosha. And she's got IT investigating how to get the exhibits I want. Because apparently they're not able to be copied directly.
Yes.
And then they lost one exhibit, I guess, from the appeal.
They lost it?
Yeah, they can't find it. It's really kind of irritating.
How does that happen?
I have no idea. But Mark Jensen's day planner, she didn't say anything about that, so I think that's good to go. And then like all the exhibits involving Kelly Levante, his wife. New wife.
That's the one he married after.
Yeah.
Julie is her name, right?
Yeah.
There's so many names. Like all these trials, they just kind of
Julie
together.
Jensen.
Like every trial, I'm like,
I know.
Where's so the Peens? Where's the Peens in the trial?
Distant. I know, that's my favorite part. Is like, if it is, then it was probably like copy protected because of its sensitive nature.
Right.
So like she's having to track down IT to get the files for me and like involving all these people just so I can investigate 2,200 ticks.
Can investigate them.
And
That's what they're calling it now.
My father said I'd never accomplish anything in life.
So does your father know that you've ordered all of the beans?
No. He knows I think he knows I contacted the court. I don't know. Hey, Eris.
Me too, Josie.
No, I had to tell her what it was. I had to find the exhibit number.
I think Miss Becky's on to you by now.
She might be on to me by now.
Maybe she'll watch us.
Yeah. I think I gave her my channel name.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still streamed. I should do that. I should share your link and pin it.
And for Natalie Wisco's sake, I'm not saying I know her. I can only imagine how embarrassing that would be.
Do you know my friend Nat?
She told me to write to you. There you go. Gia.
There we go. I had us echoing. I turned on my...
Oh, no worries, Eris. Thank you. I just posted it. I'm sorry. You are such a great mod. Seriously. Hey, Lefty.
Hey, Lefty. Back here. There we go.
Oh, thank you.
Get back here. All right, I'm going to start it now.
Okay, that works.
I think we're good now. Oh.
Outside the presence of the jury, all parties, including the defendant or president. Of course, been advised that counsel would like to place something on the record.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Several things, but I'll be brief. Appreciate the time. First, we'll start with yesterday. There was testimony from a witness where she indicated that she had sent an email to Detective Grubbs on September 18th, 2020, with attachments of pictures of Matt Moore's shoes and how he tied his shoes.
This is Exhibit A you're referring to.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay.
I had emailed the state last night. I believe that's potential Brady material. I asked them yesterday to send it to me. I haven't received that yet. I think just on behalf of Mr. Moore, I need to start building a record of this. I would just ask that the state provide those pictures to us forthwith. And like I told them yesterday, Your Honor, it's actually something I didn't want to put on the record, but I haven't received them yet, and I would like them.
Any response?
Those, we're not giving any evidentiary value. The detective does not have that email in his email account. He's asked the IT people at City of Westerville to see if they're able to.
More IT people.
Archives, if we're able to do so, we'll provide that, but we do not have those photographs.
Okay, so you believe that there were photographs?
But as the detective described them, they were zoomed in shots of like
shoes,
maybe lawyer,
which didn't have any connection at all with.
C-Swept sent me a updated monkey.
So we're trying to see if it's possible to cover those images.
A bearded baby.
So the state's position would be, for the record, you don't have it, but you're looking for it actively.
At this time, yes, we're seeing it for
WPD is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your Honor, I think it's also important to note this email was provided to the defense in discovery ages ago.
With the shoes, pictures of shoes?
No, they was never had the shoes.
Well, that's
You
not
wanna
what she's
turn it
asking
up a little?
She's asking
I
about the shoes.
understand. I just want to
Yeah.
this isn't an email counsel just got.
I that's not the controversy. That's not the question here. So we will accept the fact that Westerville is going to check the archives quote
Doesn't
unquote,
have a
and
robe?
find out if those are there, and then
The judge is
On,
disrobed.
finding those.
No, the judge doesn't have a robe.
Thank you.
Accordingly. Okay.
As the court knows, Brady is not the obligation of the defense, and I just think I heard the prosecutor say
How's that?
the way Matt tied his shoes did not
a little
connect to the way the
She's not near
USD
mic too,
tied,
so.
which leads to my Brady argument.
I want to make sure the record's clear. That's not at all what I was saying. What I was saying is that the way shoes are tied have nothing to do with the location and the manner in which the cord is wrapped around the shoe. Just so the record's clear.
Well, we'll cross that tie when we get to it. All righty,
Thank you.
let's bring the jury in.
Oh, no, a few more things.
You got other things, all right.
Yep. Your Honor, I know that there's a separation of witnesses, just kind of given the tenor, and I don't know your practice. I want to make sure, Your Honor, that it's my understanding in my practice in other cases that where an expert is going to testify, they can listen to the expert testimony of their counterpart expert. Is that not the court's understanding?
Well, I'm open on that. What are your thoughts from the state? No, in other words, you're asking that that's the exception to the rule.
That's correct. Like I think Howe might testify later today with respect to cell phones, and I would ask the court that my expert be allowed to listen to that particular testimony.
Well, I will simply say it's going to work for both sides, whichever way you go. So how would you like to do it?
That's been our practice too, Your Honor. An expert can listen to other expert testimony.
I know,
Fine.
right after I did that, it went
That's
out.
fine. If you both agree to that,
Yeah.
then that's fine with the court.
Your Honor, furthermore, just for the record, I sent an email to the state last night. I have not to date received any CCHs or criminal records for any of the civilian witnesses. There were 2 civilian witnesses that testified yesterday. The state has indicated that they orally
Hey, Brandon.
asked the witnesses. I think maybe one is being asked now,
Where
but
is she?
Celeste was asked, and she doesn't have any prior record. I would ask, though, Your Honor, that we're not just relying on witnesses and that the state provide criminal records checks for all civilians, even if they're clear, just so that we have those for our records. That also, Your Honor, I just want to make the court aware that we will be filing a motion of limine for inclusion. It has been a constant issue between the sides whether or not Emily Noble's counseling records will be allowed into evidence. I have an affidavit with respect to the custodian issue, and the state is objecting to the relevance of those. I just want to let the court know that motion is forthcoming, and I would ask the court that issue be resolved before Detective Grubbs testified, who I believe is going to be, potentially one of the later witnesses. I just want to put the court on notice because I anticipate that will be an issue that will require some argument.
You're referring to the utilization and possible admission of medical records.
I am, Your Honor, yes.
Okay.
And then also, Your Honor, I just want to proactively talk about.
All right, we have to do a thing.
Office. It was initiated by.
I said pause.
Who?
Did I skip forward on that? I did. Hold on. We're going to do a thing first. C-Swept is
What?
here.
Aw,
C-Swept is here. We have to do a thing.
yay. We do. Darn.
Happy birthday,
Yay.
C.
Happy birthday.
Yay! I'm like, you better be coming to my thing because I made a thing for you. She's great. I love her puns and all of her music.
Of course.
All right, now I got to find where we were because should I just go to the witness?
Yeah,
I think so too.
that works.
Because they're just arguing about stuff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Sarah Johnson.
Yes.
And are you employed somewhere?
I am. I work at Westerville Dental Associates.
And what is Westerville Dental Associates?
It is a small dental practice in Westerville with 4 doctors.
And what is your title or position at Westerville Dental Associates?
Office manager.
So what does the office manager do?
Everything and anything. Overlook everybody, make sure that the schedule is filled, supplies, make sure everybody's happy, clean up, everything.
All right. You said Westerville Dental has 4 doctors there?
Yes, sir.
And you also employ dental hygienists, other people as well?
EFTAs, assistants, front desk, call center. So we have about 20 employees.
And what generally does Westerville Dental do? What kind of services it provide?
Hygiene visits, we do cleanings, root canals, place implants, extractions, fillings, crowns, dentures,
So
pretty much everything.
All
yeah.
the sort of typical dentist office stuff.
Yes.
Any idea how many total patients go to Westerville Dental?
I do a report every month. So we have roughly about between 4,700 to 4,800, depending on where it kind of drops through the month.
Can you give me a discount?
Are there methods in which Westerville Dental can reach out to patients in order to schedule?
We've got a couple of different ways of doing that. We report list that for people that are past due, and we call them to let them know that they're past due for their visits. We also send out text messages. That's been something we've done for probably about like the past 4 or 5 years.
Where have
That's
you
going
been?
really, really well. Convenience of people texting. We also send out postcards to let people know when they're past due for cleaning visits. And then we call to confirm all their.
She's so happy somebody's asking her about her
So I want to
job.
talk specifically about the text message system.
Mhm.
Can you tell us how that works from the
Do you see
business?
werewolves?
There is an automated one that will go out to let people know how far past due they are every 3 months. So-and-so, you're 100 days past due, please give us a call. It also sends out text messages automatically a week prior to your dental visit to remind you you've got a dental visit. And then it does another one the day before. And it also has the option for patients to text us if they have any questions or if they want to get scheduled and they're not able to give a call. They just text our regular phone number, which makes it really easy for them to do that. Or if we've got openings on the schedule, we'll text the patient and say, hey, I've got an opening available. Do you want to come in? We have a sooner list. So for people that can't get in right away, they're scheduled out. They're like, hey, if you can get me in sooner, give me a call or text me. And we use that quite a bit with that. It makes it really easy for patients.
And so the communication system is 2-way. You can both send things to a patient and the patient can send things to you.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be prompted in any way. They can just put in our phone number and text us, and it comes through to all the girls at the front desk. I think pops up on our schedule to let us know that somebody has texted us.
Do you keep or maintain those records of those communications with patients?
Yes, sir. We're able to pull those up.
And is that something that you have access to as the office manager?
I do. I have access through my computer, and also everything is through my cell phone because I live 24/7 at the dentist office.
Oh, they're saying she didn't do it herself because she didn't cancel the
I
dental
want to
appointment.
talk to you briefly about Emily Noble. Do you know that name?
I do know the name.
And did you know Emily Noble?
She had been a patient for roughly about like a year. So I knew who she was in a good way. Sometimes you tend to remember the patients that are a little bit more rough, but I recognized the name whenever she was on the schedule.
Did Emily have a dentist appointment for May 27th?
We did miss you all. No more
No,
vacations.
rephrase the question.
Are you aware of Emily Noble having a dentist appointment in May of 2020?
Yes,
And you remember what date that was?
it was Wednesday, the 27th at 8 a.m.
And did Emily Noble show up for that dentist appointment?
No,
You
she
really
did
have
not.
to ask that, Brandon.
What, if anything, did you do as a result of Emily not showing up that day?
Well, Valhalla modded me
Standard
the first
procedure is
time I
whenever a
asked,
patient
so.
is 15 minutes late to their appointment, we give them a call to ask them, is everything okay? Can we get you, the typical phone call would be, this is Sarah with Westerville Dental Associates. We had you down at 8 o'clock this morning. I'm hoping everything's okay. Please give us a call to get rescheduled. And that happens for every patient that no shows on the schedule. We don't text it, we verbally call and do that in case they're driving or something along those lines.
Were you able to communicate with Emily Noble? on
Yeah, it's
that?
better if they're driving.
No, we left a message because we keep notes on the schedule. So whenever a patient cancels, we can make a gray block to say who the patient was that no showed.
This is the dumbest thing ever to me.
I know.
She couldn't
She
have
didn't
done it
cancel.
herself because she didn't cancel an appointment. Was she supposed
A
to
week
call
out.
and say, sorry, I'm not going to
Yeah.
be there next week?
Reason for
I'm gonna be-"
cancellation.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, I'm gonna unalive myself. Anyways,
right?
have a great week.
Yeah, have a good week.
I'll
You need
reschedule.
to-
Oh
You
wait,
need
no, I
to
won't.
reschedule? No. Oh, their reasons for her not doing it they just blow my mind.
And that we left a message.
Did you hear anything else about Emily Noble from other sources around that time? I'm not asking for the content. I'm just asking then what it led her to do. So if you want
Well,
to,
she can answer yes or no to that question.
Did you hear anything else about Emily Noble
Yes.
from other sources?
Yes, sir.
And what source was that? Without saying what was said or what you heard.
Source was the television.
Okay.
We have a TV out in our front room and in the girls' rooms too.
Based on what you saw, what did you do with the information that you had?
Whenever we saw it come up on the news, one of the girls notified the front desk, isn't that one of our patients? And I said, yes, actually, she missed her appointment this morning. So at that point, then that's whenever we called the Westerville Police Department just to let them know that we had had contact with her. The previous Friday, she reached out to the office through text to ask, do you have any openings to get my teeth cleaned in the next 2 weeks?
This is what she said, overruled.
Were you able to go back then into your system and look at the communications that Westerville Dental had had with Emily Noble?
Yes, yes, sir.
Are we on-
Well, first I charge her a no-show fee.
Right?
Then I went in. I really want them to ask that.
No approach and handy. What's marked as State's Exhibit 9. It is, for the record,
Yeah.
5 pages. If you could take a moment to look at those, please.
Okay.
Me too, Jamie.
Okay. It's from the office, yes.
Take that back. Let me ask a couple questions about it. Does that appear to be a true and accurate copy of the communications Westwood Dental had with Emily Noble, specifically May 22nd, 2020, through a couple of days later in May 2020?
Yes, I recognize, whenever we text a patient, it comes up with our initials as to who was part of the conversation, and 2 of the people's names on there. I recognize the
Hey, Dave.
initials.
And is this a true and accurate copy of the records of those communications?
Yes, sir.
And is it also an accurate copy of what was provided to Westville Police Department at the time?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, this time I'd ask to publish State Exhibit 9 to the jury.
All right. Such is noted.
You able to see that okay? So, ma'am, for the record, I'm showing you the bottom of the first page of State Exhibit 9.
I'm okay with
Is
that.
there a message there at 5/22/2020?
Yes.
And can you tell us what that is?
Hi, can I schedule a cleaning?
And
And
was
that
that
comes from
coming
Emily.
from the business or from someone else?
No, it comes from Emily because you can tell it's got her name up.
Your Honor, it also the speculation that it comes from Emily.
She can discuss what is on the screen, but beyond that, just what's.
She
on the
almost
screen.
said she can speculate.
It came from her phone because it's got her name on it. It's linked with our computer system.
I
So
love it,
through
see.
EagleSoft, whatever cell phone number is underneath
That's
that
awesome.
patient's name is what shows up on there.
And so that's generated by your system based on what you have as a phone number for the patient.
Yes.
And so the initial conversation about this cleaning was not initiated by the dentist office. It was initiated by,
Objection is leaving.
Legal.
who initiated the initial conversation?
She did because the previous text was just telling patients that we were closed due to COVID and all that. And then we were going to be reopening and all that. So she initiated that conversation because there isn't a text before it stating, can I get you scheduled?
Is there then a response from the business?
Yes. We always ask, is there a good day or a good time? So that way we can kind of narrow down what they're looking for.
I have no idea either.
The little guy covering the lawn.
And
Oh, yeah.
what was the response that was received?
She's very flexible. The next 2 weeks, what do you need filled?
And did Westerville Dental have anything
Very
available
flexible.
at that time?
We did not. Our
What do
next
you need
available
filled?
opening wasn't until July.
And was there further conversation then about scheduling a dentist appointment for July the 10th?
So yes, she ended up taking the July appointment that we did have, but she does ask if she could be put on our cancellation list, which a lot of patients do.
And
We get it sooner.
is that what I think you said sooner earlier?
It's what we call it. It's a sooner. So that way, whenever patients, like I said, get scheduled out, they'll ask if you get any cancellations, please give us a call. And we have a whole list generated for that. But she's
So at a
verbally
minimum-
asking for that in the text.
This was 5 weeks later when she did it.
Now showing you page 3 of the exhibit.
4 weeks.
Right.
Is that the discussion you're saying that I'll take
A lot can
8:15
happen in a
a.m.?
month, sweetie.
The 8:15 on the previous one was the appointment in July.
Right.
Yeah, so she
That's-
took an 8:15 in July.
And so as a result of that initial conversation, she was going to be scheduled for July 10th at 8:15 a.m.
Yes, sir.
Did the business then reach back out shortly after that?
We did. We ended up getting a cancellation that Wednesday, the 27th at the 8 a.m. appointment. And her name popped up as, well, one of the girls had the conversation earlier. So she thought right away, oh, I talked to Emily.
Objection, Your Honor, and what's someone else thought?
Sustained.
Move to strike.
Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is inadmissible, so please disregard that response. Next question.
I want you to talk about what other people said or did. I just
Okay.
want you to talk about what the business did as a result of these communications. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So was there communication from the business back to Emily Noble about a cancellation?
Yes, sir.
And when was that for?
That was for Wednesday, May 27th at 8 a.m.
And did the patient then indicate that they would accept that date and time as an appointment?
Yes.
Now showing you the top of page 4 of the exhibit. Was there communication then that date and time was being put into your system as when the appointment was going to occur?
Yes.
And then there's an message there from May 24th, 2020. Can you tell us what that is?
Wishing her a happy birthday.
And how does that happen from your
It's
system?
automated through the computer system. It can read off of the EagleSoft system that we have as our dental software. And then it just texts patients whenever their birthday pops up.
And then finally, this next message goes on to the second page. Was there another automated message sent out by your system?
Yes, it's the one that happens right before the appointment, just as another reminder. And then we also are reminding patients to wear masks
Yes, make sure
due to COVID.
make sure you wear
So
a mask
you
going
had
to
some
the
type
dentist.
of COVID
Automated.
restrictions going on at the time?
Yes.
One more. I don't know if you're this time. Thank you.
Ross, please.
Good morning, Diana Nashi on behalf of Matt Moore. Showing you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 9, just so we have a frame of reference here. Would you agree with me that the blue bubbles, if you will, are coming from Westerville Dental?
Yes, ma'am.
And none of the text messages have your name on them, correct?
No, ma'am.
So you're just the office manager that pulled these text messages?
Yes.
I noticed, though, that you didn't pull all the text messages.
Like for instance, this begins cut off with March 27th of 2020. So this is actually an incomplete record of the communications between the office and Emily. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
But I do know, since we're just talking about color, so if there's a blue text message, then we know by definition that Emily's text messages, or rather text messages coming from a number that says Emily Noble, would be white. Is that right?
Yes.
So we have up here, not included in your records poll, a blue bubble. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
From March 27th, 2020. And it appears there's no response to that. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a blue bubble, no response from Emily. Blue bubble on April 6th, 2020. Is that right?
Yes.
And it seems the next white bubble from Emily is May 22nd of 2020. Would you agree with me on that?
Yes.
So there is no response to the 4/6/2020 text message for how many days?
Oh, close to a little over a month.
Oh.
So a month would be May 6th, and then 6, 22. So we've got about 6 weeks later,
Okay.
you get a text from her, right?
That's pretty standard. Yes.
Standard. And are you, tell me when you talk about standard, you have a whole policy at your office with respect to cancellations?
Yes.
Okay. And when you talk to standard, I assume there's no one in your office that kind of is measuring metrics, right? As to what individual persons do with respect to communications, right? There's no data like that.
No.
Okay. So then I want to go to the second page that you were asked about. 522, there's a white bubble from phone number Emily Noble. Would you agree?
Yes.
And then a blue bubble and a white bubble, correct?
Yes.
And then let's go to page, if we can, of the state's exhibit. 22, where you're wishing her a happy birthday. I'm sorry, 524. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay. And after the green bubble is another green bubble?
Yes.
No white bubble.
No.
And Emily Noble, is it your testimony was a patient there for about a year?
Roughly about a year. She'd
And
been in for a couple of cleanings.
a couple cleanings in a year?
Yes.
And the text messages that you pulled on the behalf of the state of Ohio begin on March 27th. Is that right?
That it shows there.
Yeah.
I didn't go any further back because we were dealing with the situation that took
Chicken.
place of her starting to ask for a cleaning. That's why I didn't go
When
any
you
further
say-
back.
and let me ask you this. When you say you were dealing with the situation, and I'm sorry, tell me if I'm wrong, you're the office manager, but you're not law enforcement, is that correct?
No.
One last question for you, just a common sense question. Would you expect someone that was of the mental mindset to kill themselves, to cancel a dental appointment in
Objection, Your
advance of
Honor.
doing that?
Objection, speculation.
Move to withdraw. Nothing further, Your Honor, thank you.
You're right.
Why did you specifically pull only this set of messages to provide to law enforcement?
Because we were dealing with the appointment that was scheduled that day. I guess I didn't pull back further because we weren't dealing with something that happened 3 months ago. We send text messages out to patients all the time and they don't always respond. But I only pulled it from the date because that's what we were dealing with at that time.
So all of the communications that related to that specific appointment that was scheduled and missed is what was pulled and provided.
Yes, sir.
So any part of the record that's quote unquote
Objection,
incomplete
Your Honor, leaving.
is
I heard all the question. You have to rephrase the question.
there any part of this record that is quote unquote incomplete with regard to the communication about this specific appointment?
No, sir. The dates show the previous in March. That had nothing to do with May.
I have enough of the questions.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. You folks have any questions you'd like to ask this witness? Okay, I don't see any responses, so I don't think we have any questions. Is that fair to say at this point? Okay, thank you. You may step down. Thank you. Call your next witness.
The state would call Jessica Selfridge. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear?
Yeah. She
Do you
naked.
swear or affirm that somebody you're about to
Got it right.
the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Those are nipples.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You can pull that microphone up to your mouth a little bit. Can you please state your name?
Jessica Selfridge.
And can you say or spell your last name?
It's SELFRIDGE.
Shut up,
And
Lefty.
Jessica, do you work?
Yes.
And did you work in May of 2020?
I am.
Yes.
Where did you work in May of 2020?
I worked at the Old Bag and Nails in Westerville.
And so speak up just a little bit again.
The Old Bag and Nails in Westerville.
In May of 2020, how long had you worked at the Old Bag?
3 years, I believe.
What did you do there?
I was a bartender.
You worked there during the COVID times?
Yes.
Was there a period of time where Old Bag of Nails
Hi.
was not open?
Yes.
Did not time
we
you up,
closed in March
Martin.
Of what year?
of 2020.
And when did you?
Yeah, Farrell is kind of a jerk.
May
Uh,
of 2020. Yeah.
Lefty.
What was business like in May of 2020?
It was really slow, and it was weird because people were just unsure if they should go out or, you know, things like that. We had to wear masks. The employees had to wear masks. So
Wait, is she pregnant?
Were you working on May 24th of 2020?
yes.
Do you recall that day?
Yeah, it was a Sunday, and we were pretty slow. It was one of the first Sundays we reopened, I
Okay.
believe. And we kind of got like a little lunch business, and then there was like a slow period around like 3 or 4. And I was there all day. So I opened. I was there at like 11 until 9 o'clock at night that night.
The record I'm showing comes with the mark that 6 exhibits 10, 11. And
she
here's
has
what's been marked as exhibits 10 and 11. Take a minute and look at those, and when you're finished, look up at me.
I'm with you.
Do you recognize individuals in these pictures?
Yes.
And did they come to the Old Bag of Nails on May 24th of 2020?
Yes.
And now, are these pictures taken at the Old Bag of Nails?
No.
But do the photographs accurately, to the best of your recollection, depict the individuals in the photographs as they were at the Old Bag of
Yeah.
Nails?
Yep. Mhm.
Your Honor, permission to publish?
Go ahead.
Placing states exhibit 10 on the overhead. And placing states exhibit 11 on the overhead.
You're right back.
Now, Jessica, these are 2 individuals that you served at the Old Bag of Nails on May 24th of 2020.
Yes.
Do you recall about how long were they there?
Probably like 45 minutes to an hour, I would say.
Did you get to interact with them?
Yeah. Yep. I was behind the bar the whole time. Like I said, we were pretty slow. They were the only people I had for those probably like 45 minutes that they were there. So yeah, I definitely interacted with them.
Did you get to observe them then as well?
Yeah. Yep.
And how would you describe the female's demeanor?
She was in a really good mood. It was her birthday, she told me. They told me that they had been bar hopping a little bit and just like general conversation when they first got there, interacting with me when they first got there.
And do you recall, did they eat and drink at the Old Bag?
They did, yes.
I'm going to show the witness what's been marked as States Exhibit 12. Take a moment to look at this, and when you're finished, look up at me. It's a double-sided exhibit. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
And what does it appear to be generally?
That is their bill from that day.
Well, is it a bill
Or it's
generated at the
their,
Old Bag of
yeah,
Nails?
it's their receipt from that day. Yeah.
Their receipt.
Yeah.
And your recollection is that this is the couple's receipt that was depicted in the photographs.
Yeah. Yep.
Your Honor, permission to publish to the jury.
Yeah.
No.
Go ahead.
Placing States Exhibit 12 on the overhead. We will just walk through this generally. Can you explain to the jury what is at the top that I'm pointing to with my pen of this document?
So it says like we were at the bar at the top. You mean like where it says 700?
Yeah,
Or-
just generally what is this? Is this just
Okay.
saying the date and the time?
Yeah. So that's just saying like what seat they were at the bar, and then what time they were there, where they were sitting, basically at the main bar of the old bag. Yeah.
All right, and what is the date and time?
It was May 24th at 6:00 p.m.
And then how do you record what people order?
So basically, it's a POS system, so it's a point of sale. So you just type it in, whatever they order, you type it into the computer, and then it gets sent to the kitchen. So they ordered food, so the kitchen knows that they ordered the fish and chips, and it records everything that I serve them. So I serve them. It says Ryan Ice Bubbles, which is a beer, and then a Maker's Mark, which is a whiskey. So that's what I serve them, and then I ring it in, so I'm able to charge them for it, basically.
And then if they order something again, you ring it in again.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. And so from your review, this receipt is a fair and accurate depiction of what you rang in on that day.
Yep.
And then it looks like there's also a mark at 6:28 p.m. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, so basically how it works is you ring everything in, and there's a timestamp on it from the moment you ring it in until the moment that you cash out the check. So basically, it's just keeping track of everything I'm ringing in and the times I'm ringing everything in. And then at the end, it will have a timestamp of when we cash them out, basically.
And then again at 6:38.
Right. Yeah, so if I ring something else in, it'll have like a timestamp of what time I ring everything in.
And is this receipt a single bill or a split?
It was just one check.
I miss those prices.
And then finally, what's the last entry on the back of this exhibit, the time?
It is 6:47 p.m.
And the total?
The total was $44.25, and then the service charge is the $10 tip that was left.
One moment, please, Ron.
MG was in here earlier. Jamie.
Hi. Jamie. Hi, Farrell.
Actually, I can't get too drunk.
I would drink with you too, Brandon, but you don't want to play with me.
Mm-hmm.
I know, migraine.
Chicken.
Do you recall anything else about your interaction with them that evening?
Yeah, it was. I don't want to say it was. It was interesting because they had told me that they had been drinking a little bit.
Yeah. We don't want to talk about what things people said to you.
Okay.
But did you make any other observations?
Yeah, so it seemed like they had been drinking a little bit when they came in. And as a bartender, you kind of want to be cautious. You don't want to overserve anyone. So since they ate and they only had 2 drinks each, it was fine to me. They weren't acting like super belligerent or anything. They weren't super intoxicated, so it was fine. They had a couple of drinks, they ate. They were kind of, because they were sort of intoxicated, they were kind of going back and forth where they would be kind of like lovey-dovey towards each other, and then
Is she intoxicated right now?
a little standoffish towards each other, which isn't like super uncommon, isn't anything that I hadn't noticed before of other customers. So, but since they were the only people that I had at the time, I did observe a lot of their behavior. So,
And fast forward a couple days.
Yeah.
Law enforcement reaches out to you and speaks to you about what occurred on May 24th.
yes.
Dude, the girl's rotating like 90 degrees at a time. Or no, 45 degrees.
Go on, please.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Actually, I'm supposed to be taking notes, so I can't drink either.
Showing you what's been marked as States Exhibit
Gosh.
11, but first let me introduce myself. Jessica, good morning. Good morning. Diane Menashe on behalf of Matheau Moore.
I have a deep
States
extra point
Exhibit
later, so
11. Just want to,
I gotta stay up.
and you sat at the bar. I know you witnessed
Right.
they were there for a little less than an hour. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
It's important.
Focus out a little bit, just so.
It is important.
We're tied for the wild card.
Maybe the other picture is more clear.
Diamondbacks haven't been to
And
the
it's hard to tell in this picture,
playoffs
but
in 6 years.
Emily was
Yeah.
wearing 2 necklaces, was she not? There was a shorter one and then a longer one. It's hard to tell from that picture, but happy to show you States Exhibit 10 as well. But I'm assuming that you have independent recollection since they were.
I'm catching the whole comment. You have a question, please.
Well, let's finish the question.
Sure. Showing you what's been marked as
Witness?
States Exhibit 10. Also, do you see Emily? It appears Emily's wearing 2 necklaces, does it not?
Yeah. It's kind of, yeah, it does.
And Matt, if you can, showing you now States Exhibit 11 again. It appears from that photo, you can see both of his hands. Would you agree with me on that?
Correct.
And he's on his cell phone
Yes.
or on a cell phone.
Right.
So it appears in that picture that she's the one actually taking that selfie of them.
Probably, yeah.
And States Exhibit 10 and 11, those are actually, they're from different vantage points. Are they not? One straight on and one's from the side?
Right.
Okay. I want to ask you about, I think if I recall back when you guys were open, showing you States Exhibit 12, that Rheingeist was on tap. Was it?
No, it was in a can.
Oh, because the bubbles wasn't on tap?
We didn't have it on tap now.
So I want to talk about Rheingeist bubbles for a second. Comes in a pink can, is it not?
Correct.
And the liquid inside of Rheingeist bubbles is like a pink peachy color?
It's considered like a rosé. So-
Rosé ale?
Yes.
And
Really
so
wish
my
they got a Bud
question is,
Light.
Because it's considered a rosé, it has like a pinkish color to it, does it
Correct. Yep.
not? And not assuming that you know the alcohol of every beer, but do you know Rheingeist bubbles, about 6.2% alcohol?
I honestly don't know, but it could be. I don't know if it's that strong.
And
has to
let me
be
ask you
pregnant.
one other thing. Beginning time 6:01 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then tab is transaction ends
Sally,
at
you're not allowed to comment
6:47
on
p.m.
that.
on May 24th,
What?
2020.
Right.
And total tab 44.25. Tip is $10.
Unless she's
Right.
crowning,
Nothing
you don't get a comment on that.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask? Becky, do you have?
I don't have any beer. Oh, come on.
They're asking her. I forgot.
Are you pregnant?
Like all this, like, oh, they look so happy. They did say that. It's like, what is it? None of that matters.
Right.
Yeah. Unless it's at like Mark Jensen marriage problems level, it doesn't matter.
Because people smile all the time.
They don't.
Yeah.
And they still do
I'm
crazy-
smiling right now.
Right. How often when the people do it do you hear, oh my goodness, I never would have.
You noted in Exhibit 12, the nature of the
Exactly.
drinks that were ordered. Did you see who had each drink?
Yeah. So
Oh, for
the gentleman had the Maker's Mark,
freak's
and I believe
sakes.
it was Jack Daniels. And then the
Was it Johnny
woman
Depp
had the two bubbles. drinks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Questions
for
from
the
the state?
Maker's Mark?
One moment, please.
Ugh.
How are the fish and chips, and would you recommend them?
Do you wish any questions?
Yes. Just with respect to Emily drinking the Rheingeist, as you served it there, you opened the can and poured it in a pint glass?
I don't recall. I know it was in a can, and I served it to her, but I don't remember if I poured it into a glass or not.
And based on the receipt, it was 2 cans of Rheingeist bubbles. That rosé ale you talked about.
I believe.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nothing further.
Are you able
Thank
to
you.
drink?
Please sit
So
down.
this was a waitress.
Go ahead, next
How
witness.
did she remember?
Typical Suzanne Kavanaugh.
That was really weird.
I mean, I never worked in a bar, but working retail, like, other than like the people that you saw literally every
Yeah.
day
Yes.
after day,
There were
I
a
wouldn't
hand-
remember anybody. I wouldn't remember.
Yeah.
I worked PetSmart for 5 years, and there were a handful of customers like I became really close with.
Yeah, because you see them
A
every
handful.
day,
Yeah,
and you
but-
probably talk to them too.
yeah, and like I knew what pets they had, and we just were
Right.
kind of friends. But 90% of customers, no.
Yeah, you were not. It's just crazy.
I once had 2 customers start cussing each other out. That was fun. Screaming, "Merry, oh, great holiday spirits, mother effer." Oh, well, Merry effing Christmas to you. Merry effing Christmas back to you.
I love
And
it.
I'm just standing there like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, great holiday
Please state your name for the record.
spirits.
Suzanne Kavanaugh,
Can you spell your first and last name, please?
SUZANNECAVANAUGH.
And can you pull that mic up a little bit or scoot up a little
Oh,
bit?
sure.
Ma'am,
Sorry, keep your voice up
can
so
you
everyone-
burn ants
Okay.
with those eyeglasses?
Where do you live, ma'am?
I live in Columbus, Ohio.
And how long have you lived in Columbus?
I moved back in 2018.
Thanks,
Did you
Brandon.
live in Columbus before?
I did. I originally lived here in 1986 when I came for college.
And where'd you
It's your
go to
house.
school?
Ohio State,
And what'd you study there?
criminal justice.
How
Did you graduate
thick
from
are
Ohio
her
State?
eyeglasses? They are
And then,
creeping me out.
did Did you stay in
Like,
the Columbus
seriously,
area after
how
graduation?
bad is your
I did for a
eyesight,
while,
girl?
and then I moved back home to Baltimore and came back here. I've moved a couple of times back and forth across the country. I have family all over, so I've moved to be near family several times.
What years was it that you were at Ohio State?
I started in 1986.
Well, at least we know
left
she saw
in
everything.
89, went back in 91, and graduated in 93.
During your time at Ohio State, did you know somebody named Emily Noble?
I did.
And where did you meet her?
We met.
Oh, this
we
is
met at a
the
party. The
friend.
week I moved here, Ohio State is known for having giant, we call them yard parties, front yard, backyard, full of people. And I met her at one of those.
Is it
Did
Farrell?
you guys hang out in college?
We would see each other when we were out, but we weren't particularly in each other's friends circle. We'd see each other at
We know you
shows or at
see
parties
each
or
other.
things of that nature. But I knew who she was, and we had a lot of mutual friends. But we connected later.
Did you stay in touch after college?
We didn't, no.
And when did you reconnect with Emily?
We reconnected in 2016.
And can you talk to us about how that happened?
I'm sorry?
Can you talk to us about how did you reconnect with her in 2016?
I was in a car accident and my car was totaled. So I put a post on Facebook. This was before GoFundMe was really a
Really?
thing. And
You
just
couldn't have seen
put it
the
out
other
there to
car
all of my
coming?
friends. If anyone out of the kindness of their heart would like to help me purchase a new car, please send me a message. I'll give you my address.
So let me back you up for a minute. So I asked if you stayed in contact with Emily after college.
I did. I'd run into her occasionally. We had a lot of mutual friends. And so I'd see her and we would say hi and exchange conversations. But it wasn't a matter of I went to her home, she went to my home. We just knew one another.
And were you Facebook friends?
I believe we were, yes.
Okay. So not somebody
These
that you were
glasses were used to replace the Hubble
seen in person,
telescope.
but you did have mutual friends and were friends on Facebook. I make sure I understand.
Yes, and I would see her out at time to time.
She
Like for
uses the
example, if I
glasses
go
to
to
study
a
the beginning
concert,
of the
I'd see her
universe.
with her group of friends and my group of friends, and we get together. We both frequented a local bar called Dick's Den, and we would see each other there quite a
Dick's
bit.
Den.
Dick's dead.
So after you placed that message on Facebook, what happened?
Within an hour, I received a private message from Emily, send me your address, I'd like to help. And
These glasses are thicker than that black woman on
to see
My Cousin
kind of out
Vinny.
of nowhere,
couldn't
it
see.
was most appreciated.
What happened as a result of that?
I think I need a
That's when we
thicker pair of
reconnected and really
glasses.
became friends. We began speaking. I was able to purchase a car. Several other friends reached out to help. So I was able to purchase a car. And a couple of months later, I sent a note to Emily and said, you know,
Please don't say I.
your generosity was so unexpected and really appreciated, and I would like to repay the favor. So I invited her out on what we used to refer to as a girlfriend date.
And do you remember where you went?
Speaking of
I do.
scissoring.
We went to the Palace Theater
Right?
to see The Price is Right live, which was as absurd as it
Look,
sounds.
right for this one too.
And do you remember roughly when that was?
I believe that was in late January or early February, maybe, of 2017. I remember it was very cold.
After reconnecting, going to The Price is Right live, did you begin to see Emily more or less or the same?
We were pretty much connected at the hip. Like
Did
that
you
was
see
a
Gary
moment where we
finish
just
first
realized this is a really good friend. This is someone I have a lot in common with. And we just were Lucy and Ethel. It was almost like from that point on, we were best friends.
In 2017, early 2017, were you aware of somebody named Matt Moore?
I knew that she was communicating with someone named Matt. I don't think I knew his full name at the time, but I knew that she was communicating with him.
But at that time in 2017, was she single or married or something else?
She was single, very single.
Did you, let's talk about from 2017 on, how long did you live in Ohio from that time you really connected with Emily?
I lived here. I moved in April of 2018 to Northern California, and I made it exactly 100 days. And then I moved back here in August of 2018, where I currently reside.
So that time between early 2017 and the time you moved to California,
Right,
the time when you
Eris?
said you and Emily were super close.
Correct.
And then when did you come back from California?
I came back in mid-August of 2018.
And do you remember anything that was going on in Emily's life around that time?
Well, we had spoken weekly while I was in California. We stayed in a lot of communication. And she indicated that
Objection as to what Emily indicated?
So without, I'm not gonna ask you to say what she said. I just want to know if you were aware of what was going on.
I knew that she was dating.
Okay. And when you returned back to the Columbus area in August of 2018,
right, Baker?
Where was Emily living?
At Abbey Cross.
And was she living there with anyone else at that time?
I was not aware that she was living with anyone else when I moved
She
back.
got the clearest photo of Neptune ever with those glasses. She just stepped outside and
You came back. What happened next in Emily's life?
I was back for a week, and Emily came over to my house. She would come over after she went to the gym. And so she came over to my house, and she held out her left hand and said, "No to send him."
Objection as to what Emily said?
Held out her left hand and showed.
To anything she said.
I know it's hard, but
I understand.
I want you to talk about the things that you saw and observed without saying.
I noticed the wedding band on her left hand.
Okay. And
I was disappointed.
when about was
She was
that?
off the market.
Late August. I had only been back about a week or two.
Did you know who she had gotten married to?
I later learned
We'll throw a watch party
And
for
was
my
that Matt
testimony.
Moore?
it was.
Like Edward
Did
Cleveland
you
Jensen.
meet Matt Moore at some point?
I did.
And where do you remember meeting him?
I first met Matt at the pool, at the
He had music
condo.
ready.
We all went swimming.
And do you remember around the time of year or what year that was? Any of those?
It would have been August. Unsure if it was before or after they were married because it was a very short time from when I came home to when they were married. It was
It's a
roughly
really
2
good thing
weeks.
this trial isn't
I
outside
may have
with the
gone
sun,
swimming
'cause
the
anywhere
first
she
weekend
looked,
I
they
was
just
back.
burn
I
up.
don't exactly recall.
So just make sure I understand. When
Bye, Lefty.
you met Matt at some point after you returned from California.
Correct.
So we're talking August of 2018.
Correct.
You're just not sure whether it was before or after they got married.
Correct.
Did you observe anything about the way that Matt and Emily interacted with each other?
I did in that I had noticed Emily more demonstrative with her affection in previous relationships than I noticed in this one.
Oh,
What do you mean by
Lord.
I didn't observe them being touchy-feely or in the throes of a new relationship as you would expect.
After that interaction at the pool, were there other times that you were together with Matt and Emily?
Yes, there were 2 occasions where the 3 of us were together.
Can you tell us about the next interaction that you recall?
The next one that I recall, Matt and Emily came to my house and picked me up, and the 3 of us went to a rock show at a local bar.
Okay. It was just the 3 of you that went together?
Yes.
And what, if anything, did you observe during that time the 3 of you were together?
Matt was already
You got
intoxicated
this,
Yes,
Sal?
he's-
when they got to my house.
What?
I wanted to drive because I felt uncomfortable with his state, and he was adamant that he drive. So I got in the back seat and thought, okay, I can always
is this
Uber
Joe
home if
Neerman's
I need
wife?
to.
And were the 3 of you together then at the concert?
Yes.
And
She's
what, if
the one
anything,
who
did
likes
you
to
observe
drive.
about the way Matt and Emily were interacting at that time?
He was never more than 2 feet away from her and would hold her very closely, not my arm around you, your arm around me. It was very, I'm holding you close. And it felt very,
See, you were just complaining they weren't close.
Well, she had an answer
Now-
there yet, so
now
it's
he's too
clear,
close.
So ask the next question.
Now he's controlling.
Um,
He wanted to drive.
what did you observe about the way that Emily was acting?
looked at your glasses and said, "Listen."
Nothing
Okay.
out of the
Scared of you.
ordinary, but she was never far from that.
Was that the same or different than how you had seen Emily act in the past?
Objection is irrelevant.
Every relationship is different. The dynamics are different.
This is in 19?
Unless she
18 or
had
19,
bruises
yeah,
every
19,
time you
19.
saw her.
After this.
And she just said they weren't cleaning.
Any other times you saw interactions between?
Oh, he is
Matt
pissed.
and
He is pissed.
I was invited to dinner at the condo that they were preparing, and they invited me to dinner
And that, when you say the condo, where is that located?
at Abbey Cross. I'm sorry. Yes, the condo Emily's condo.
And so that time when you went over to the condo, who was living there?
Matt and Emily and Matt's son Joey.
I've never seen
And what, if
her.
anything, did you note about the interactions between Matt and Emily that time?
It actually would be interesting.
It felt tense
I agree.
when I arrived.
Can you describe that for us?
That could be jackpot.
Just the way you can read a room or take the temperature of a room when you walk in. It felt tense.
Oh, so that's what we're going with to convict a man,
Did you see
put him in prison for the rest of his
Right.
life.
Matt that
Felt
evening?
feelings.
I did.
And anything that stood out to you about the way
I'll
he
use
was
a
acting?
Ouija board next time.
He was drinking vodka straight from the bottle.
Oh, was he?
It's
Was
almost
she
like he just
also?
lost
'Cause-
his son
Is that the last time
recently.
that you remember being with Emily and Matt together?
Yes.
Did your
God, this pisses me off so much.
Well,
relationship with Emily begin to
Another woman.
deteriorate or change?
Like,
Most definitely, yes.
And can you tell us how that started?
would be
Yeah.
like,
I had expressed reservations to Emily
why?
prior to my leaving and returning from California. I was aware that they had previously dated and that he ghosted her.
Objection.
It's none of your
Just saying.
business.
Next question.
Really? Nose out of it.
Ghosted
Sure,
her?
part of that was
Oh my God, those
Of course he
eyes.
did.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
They're
I
just
hate
like how
when
you went
friends-
bigger than
caused
normal.
the beginning of the deterioration with your relationship with Emily.
I had concerns about Matt.
And did you communicate those to Emily?
I did.
And
Why?
uh,
Because you're a bitter
were those
old
were those concerns based on these observations that you've talked about or something else?
Objection is leading.
If there was ever a time for Bronca to be on the
Okay, I'm
panel.
sorry. Could you repeat the question, please?
The reservations that you had about Matt that you expressed to Emily,
Yes.
what was the basis of that?
The fact that he'd
What?
already
What's
broken up with her before, and I
So what?
knew she was upset about that.
Well, of course.
Okay. Duh.
Well, have
We
lots
had
of people
several
break up and get back together.
Discussions,
People divorce and
About
get married again all the time.
their prior relationship. And I always felt as though, and I still,
Objection is to how she felt. It's not relevant.
We don't even know what.
Rephrase the
None of this-
question. You can continue on and ask the question again.
Your feelings are irrelevant, ma'am.
You're talking about discussions that you had during that time period when you first reconnected with Emily.
Do it.
correct,
Irish?
yes.
And so at that time, Matt was not around. He was not in the picture.
No, I didn't know him. It was just a general
Clearly.
conversation about
Yeah.
never going back to an ex. They're an ex for a reason.
What?
So it wasn't him.
My
So-
God.
You would express some reservations.
Yeah, there are some exes I would
to
not
Emily
take
while you were in
back
California.
ever. But there are some I would.
While
if
I
we
was
ran
in
into each other.
California, I was
it
not
ended
aware
well.
that they had reconnected.
So I just want to make sure we understand. So then when were these reservations that you were expressing to Emily?
2017, I remember a conversation.
So prior to them getting back together.
As far as I am aware, yes.
Okay. Now I understand that part. Now I want to talk about your conversations with Emily after they're married.
That's a
Okay.
lot.
And did you have other conversations with Emily about Matt?
Yes.
And What kinds of things did you express to her at that time?
I don't know what the answer is. I'm not
Kitty
sure I can
litter
answer
was
that question. We'll hear what she has to say.
She walked in to
Your
testify.
perception of their
We had
relationship
discussed
is not relevant.
both her relationship with Matt as well as her relationship with Joey, because they were both living with her.
Mm-hmm.
And Emily and I both lived alone prior to Matt and his son moving in with her.
Clearly.
And just the transition of having two men living in her house was a lot for her. We discussed that.
Oh my God,
Um,
who cares?
Talk about some of the things you noted about their interactions together, Matt
Yes,
and Emily.
yes,
Did you ever communicate those observations to Emily?
I did.
No.
I did.
And without going into what she said, how did she react when you raised those issues with her?
She became very defensive.
Yeah, I punched you in the face.
Yeah, because she did these happen
And
in phone calls and in
did your
person and
relationship
not
change
messages
or stay the
again?
same or something else after you?
It was very strained anytime the subject of their relationship would come up, because
Because she wanted you to leave her
I
alone.
did not approve of Matt or
You're
her.
butting your nose.
I did not think that they were a good match.
As to what she thought about Emily and Matt.
It's an existing.
That's it. Come on, a second. You don't need all that.
Wow.
That crap pisses me off so much. Like,
Yep.
I hate
Because
when they
we
bring-
all we know those people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all know one of those people
and it's like,
who just butts in.
you should be with this person because I feel this way. Well, who gives a crap what you feel? And what
To be
you
fair, the last time somebody told me
Right.
that, they were right, but still, it's
yeah,
annoying.
but ultimately, I don't know. I guess it's just
It's our-
like
Right.
Yeah.
you crap about like, hey Sal, we need to meet these chicks and approve of them.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's
like, ultimately, you have to make the decision. You're
Yeah.
the one that has to be with this person. And I just really hate when people butt their nose into it. Like when you get these little biddies that are like, you know
It's
what,
one
I know
thing-
best. So
It's one thing to give advice, but then to give the advice and ignore it. I mean, and then drop it.
yeah. If I
Politely.
ask for
Have
it,
fun on your run, Eris.
Yeah.
Do you recall when the last time you saw Emily was?
Have fun.
The last time I saw Emily, I
still
believe
see
it
her.
was late winter, early spring of 2019. Late winter 2018, early 2019.
I have one more.
it is very true this way up.
Yeah. Crazy.
So,
Do you
early spring
approve of the
2019
cat she got?
Yes,
is when you thought that might have been?
yes,
Did you observe anything about Emily on that date the last time you saw her?
yes, I did.
And what was that?
I observed bruises on her arms.
Did you
Without
know
going
what
into
they
the
were-
conversation based on observing bruises, did you ask Emily about it?
I did.
And
what you said.
could you describe for the jury her emotional state
Okay.
based
whatever.
I
on
have a bruise on the inside of
what
my
you asked
arm.
her
I have
about.
no idea where it came from.
I have two right now.
I know.
Like,
I'm not
fuck
sure I
it.
understand your question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm not asking you
Yeah.
what was
I
said,
did
I'm asking you
all
just to describe
that.
emotions, demeanor, if you can.
Very defensive.
Oh.
Our conversation became very heated.
Well, because you're probably
And,
blaming that.
Why are you?
Again, without going into what was said, how did the conversation end?
The conversation
Yes.
ended.
Yes, he is.
The conversation ended with Emily leaving.
That's usually how
Very
conversations end.
upset.
Hi, Shelly.
I was very upset. And it felt like the end of our friendship.
Probably because you were being a see you next Tuesday. Sorry, Farrell.
Oh, so yeah.
After the last time that you saw
Wait.
her in person,
You didn't say it.
did you have any further communication with Emily?
The last time that we spoke
Mo.
directly, not via text or private message, the last time that we spoke over the phone, she called regarding Joey.
And again, without getting into the details of the conversation, what was the general topic you said about Joey?
Joey had died, and
Just walk in a suit.
Do you remember the time frame of when that conversation occurred?
July, I believe it was 4th of July, actually. And I assumed she was calling to wish me 4th of July. Happy
And
4th of July,
Do you remember what year?
Hell,
that
it's
was?
her channel. Like,
2019.
July 2019.
try to be respectful of that.
And was that the last time that you had
Hmm.
a verbal conversation with
Yes.
Emily? No. One moment.
I don't want to like do something improper.
I have a quick question.
Please.
One moment, Your Honor.
Certainly.
She's cleaning her eyes to do before she prepares for a new mission to look at Neptune. God, I blew that joke.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sue, Diane Menashe on behalf of Matheau Moore. Got some follow-up questions for you. I want to really make sure of the dates here. The call when Emily called you to let you know that Joey had killed himself was 4th of July, as you remember, of 2020?
No, 2019.
2019. 2019, and then before that testimony, you had talked about
Now she did some deep knee
the
bends before
prosecutor
this class.
asked you when was the last time you saw Emily. And I want to make sure that I got the date right. So you said late winter of 2019 or early spring of 2019. Is that right?
No, it was spring of 2019.
Okay, spring of 2019.
Well, late February, March, April, around it. I would say probably February
Okay.
of 2019.
And I want to give you a chance to really pinpoint it. February of 2019 is the last time you see Emily in person. Is that right?
Yes.
And then July of 2019, you remember, based on your testimony, sometime around the 4th of July, she called you and let you know that Joey had killed himself.
That Joey was dead.
Oh, but she didn't did she tell you how he was dead?
No,
Okay. She didn't share that information with you.
she did not.
Surprised she didn't blame Matt for it.
And that was the last time you spoke with Emily.
Correct.
And it is, what's today's date?
August 7th.
2022,
Correct.
obviously. And you're aware that she went missing on May 25th of 2020.
Correct.
I want to go back then about the 3 times that you saw Matt and Emily together, now that we kind of have that bookend at the end. You saw them the first time at the pool in the complex, is that right?
Yes.
And you noted that they weren't that touchy-feely. I think that's what I wrote down.
Correct.
And, I mean, you guys were at pool
Yes.
swimming? And then the
Supposed to be
next
doing-
time you went to a rock show at a local bar.
Yes.
And I presume at the rock show, it was like a concert with a bunch of people there,
It was at a bar, a music venue.
and you were drinking.
Yes.
And then the last time you mentioned was when you had dinner over at their house.
Yes.
And I want to make sure it falls in the timeline because you indicated that Joey was there when you went to have dinner.
No, I did not indicate that.
No. So, okay. So it was just you and Matt and Emily?
Correct.
Joey was not there.
Correct.
And when's the date of that dinner?
I don't recall specifically the date.
But it had
After
to
they were
be-
married.
And it had to be sometime before the last time you saw Emily, which was February of 2019.
Obviously, yes.
Yes. So sometime before February of 2019 was the last time
Oh,
you
thank
saw
you.
Matt Moore with Emily.
Correct.
Nothing further.
She's such a like. I saw them at the pool and they weren't touching feet. Okay, what were they supposed to be doing, ma'am? What would you like them to be doing?
And then he threw her in the pool. Oh,
Yeah.
I know, like
right.
you just like.
What
on
is
top
your
of each other.
standard for a good relationship?
Exactly.
No migraine.
Gracious.
Try this. God, this
Love
trial's-
a good friend that is just so opinionated about your life and your relationship. Oh, love them.
What's that prosecutor doing?
Yep.
Ah. Just pissing me off all over again.
I know. I guess I yelled a lot of this stuff by myself when I watched it
Yeah.
the first time. Because that's like the worst witnesses in these trials that we watch is when you get like the person that's up there and is like, I saw him one time and he side-eyed me and I was like, like, okay.
And he said, die, die, die.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a good time to take a morning break. So we'll take a 10-minute break. Remember the course examination. Thank you. We'll be back shortly.
I still find it funny
Never
that
mind.
Mark Jensen thought Zach was going to snitch on him.
Well,
Yeah,
they
he was like-
obviously
he
they
accused-
do a lot of that around there. So
Yeah, he flat out, or not flat, he like made a snide remark about him being moved into his unit and Zach being there to snitch on him.
Well, stop being
In his
all-
defense,
they
he
do it
kind of
with
had a
other
point.
ones, obviously. So.
Yeah.
Oh, we went right back to. Looks like they're gonna go right back into.
Yes, they do, Josie.
Thanks, sir. Okay, cross exam, please.
We're at jury questions.
Oh, you didn't have any questions? You finished up and you don't have any more
No.
questions? Okay, all righty. Questions?
Oh, the jury has questions for her.
Ma'am, where do you get your glasses? Do you know you look like a serial killing librarian?
He should go back to this look. He looks much younger when he has his hair like it is in court.
Yeah.
And his facial hair and stuff.
Matt,
Looks
you mean?
really, I mean, I'm sure he feels really ill. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like he's in witness protection because every time you see him, he's got a different look.
For you, ma'am.
I agree, Pixie.
Absolutely.
When you were invited to dinner, was Joey, Matt's son, present at the condo?
No, it's not.
Okay. Another question. Did you ever meet Joey?
Yes.
Do you know someone by the name of Celeste Roan?
Yes.
You do? Okay. And I think you indicated, but the question is, was Joey at the dinner before February 19th?
No, he was not at dinner.
When you folks went to the rock show at the bar, did Emily drink alcohol before going there?
Not that I witnessed.
Okay.
Why
Did
would that
Emily
matter?
drink alcohol during the dinner, the condo dinner?
Probably. I believe we both had a beer.
Did Emily drink alcohol at the pool party?
Yes.
And you talked about Matt drinking a vodka out of a bottle. Did Matt continue to drink vodka out of the bottle during dinner?
Yes.
Okay. Does that raise any questions for the state? Follow-up questions?
Which one?
Do you know where Joey was during the dinner?
If I recall correctly, I believe he was at work.
So he just wasn't physically present in the condo when you were there for dinner, is what you're saying?
Correct.
You were asked about whether you know Celeste Garone.
Yes.
How do you know her?
I met her at the pool at Emily's condo.
And then you were asked a question about drinking during the pool party. It was kind of a compound question, so I'm not sure what you meant. Was Emily drinking while you were hanging out together at the pool?
Yes.
And was Matt drinking while you were hanging out together at the pool?
Yes.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
And you were drinking at the pool
Yes.
and at the concert
Yes.
and in the house.
Yes.
Just want to
They
be clear
just
again
really-
about dates. When Emily showed you her ring, we know, based on your prior testimony, that she got married at the end of August in 2018. She was just moved back, right?
Yes.
And then we know from your prior testimony that the last time you saw Emily was February of 2019.
Yes.
So August 2018 to February 2019 is when you talked about these 3 instances of when you saw Emily and Matt together.
Correct.
Nothing further.
Thank you. You may sit down. Thank you very much. Call your next witness.
State call Brandy Zink.
Yeah, because the state keeps pushing this drinking thing because it's like Matt was out of control and Emily didn't like it. Well, she was doing it too.
You raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give in this case should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Ma'am, can you state your name and spell your last name for the record, please?
My name is Brandy Zink, Z-I-N-K.
And are you currently employed?
No.
Were you previously employed?
Yes.
What did you do when you were previously employed?
I was a paralegal secretary at a law firm in Detroit, Michigan.
And how long were you a paralegal?
How am I out of control?
From 2009 till 2014.
And did you go to school to become a paralegal, or what education did you have to do that?
I worked as a volunteer and an intern at a firm in Columbus, and so I learned on the job.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up partially in New Jersey, and then my family moved to Florida.
And how did you end up in Detroit, Michigan?
I had a job opportunity, and I moved from Columbus.
Okay. So talk to me about the time period that you lived in the Columbus area.
I lived in Columbus from 2000 till 2009.
Okay. And then from 2009 until present, you've lived where?
In Detroit, Michigan.
Okay. At some point, did you
What's a
meet
word
a
for
person
like
by
a
the name of
gaggle of
Emily?
Karens?
Yes.
And
Gaggle.
how did you first meet Emily?
I met Emily in the summer of 2001. We were both volunteers at the community festival where we worked together at the Volunteer Central.
Is the community festival, does it go by something else?
2:30 my
It's called
time.
Conquest
And where does that take place?
at the Goodale Park in Columbus.
And how often does that take place?
It's every year, the last full weekend of June.
So tell me about meeting Emily back in 2001.
When I met Emily, we were assigned to work together at the Volunteer Central, and we hit it off. She's very warm and friendly. She's very funny personality, and so we worked together every year at the Volunteer Central. We just clicked and became fast friends.
Other than working at the community festival every year, did you have interactions with each other between those time periods?
Yes, we would get together. Sometimes I would go swimming and staying with her at her
Jesus.
apartment. I believe it's called the Tivoli
Did she chew on a bunch
apartments
of
in
lock
Columbus.
washers?
And we get together for dinner sometimes, and we would go to
Jimmy's
music
British
together.
teeth look good.
Okay. How often would you say you would get together with Emily to either go to an event or to do something?
Nearly weekly for a while.
Okay. And did that continue until you left the area, or did it end previously to that?
When I moved, she would visit me in Detroit.
Okay. So when you moved to Michigan, would you still see Emily frequently?
Well, she would come up to visit me 2 or 3 times a year, and I'd also come down to Columbus, and we'd get together. I'd see her when I come down.
Okay. And in between those times that you would physically see each other, did you remain in contact other ways?
Yeah, we'd talk on the phone. We'd send pictures, text messages. She loved photography, and we shared pictures together, and we'd also communicate on Facebook.
And how often do you think you were communicating with Emily during that time period?
Fairly frequently.
You mentioned that you would get together and volunteer at the community festival every year, and that was done with Emily, correct?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did that stop or did that continue?
When I moved to Detroit, I did come back for Confest a few years and still volunteered, but I stopped going. I think 2012 was the last time I went and volunteered at Confest.
Okay. And when was the last time that you physically saw?
There we
because
go.
We got together
That's
with Emily.
the one.
It was
Bunch of
June
Karens.
of 2019.
Or maybe a murder of Karens.
Oh, yeah.
During your knowing
Man.
Emily Noble, dating back in 2001, did you ever meet her first husband?
Yes, I went to their wedding.
Do you remember what his name was?
It was Mark.
And were you around the two of them together during that time period?
Yes.
Okay. How would you describe their relationship if you can?
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
I love anybody.
Right? What is
relevance of this?
2001.
This has been a question that's come up
Two
with other
different
witnesses
bands.
that even defense has asked questions about. So I think this witness certainly can give an opinion based on that circumstance as well.
I'm still not following you.
That's fine. I'll move on.
I'm not following you.
At some point, did you learn that Emily's first husband died?
Yes.
And how did you find that information?
Emily told me.
Okay. Are you aware of how Emily's first husband passed away or how he died?
He took his own life.
Okay. And were you around Emily during that time period?
Right.
I believe I had already moved to Michigan.
Okay.
I believe that was in 2011 when Mark passed.
And did you have conversations or discussions with Emily during that time period?
Yes.
And did it relate to Mark and his sudden passing?
Yes.
Did you talk with her during that time period about suicide?
Objection.
My aunt.
It's the conversations that took place in 2011.
Right?
Well, suicide is obviously an issue in this case, so I'll permit it.
And I'm just setting some foundation, Your Honor. Thank you. Ma'am, did you have conversations with Emily during that time period about suicide?
Yes.
And during that time period after her husband committed suicide, did she give to you any of her then existing state of mind or beliefs about that?
She was.
Yes or no?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And what were her then existing state of mind? What did she tell you about that?
Objection, Your Honor. It's
Hearsay.
relevance and also hearsay. Doesn't need the exception.
That's 11 is remote, so I'm going to sustain that.
But you did have those conversations with Emily?
Indeed. Yes.
Okay.
And when I bet you said, I'll never do that sort of thing. Like everyone
Right.
does.
Of course.
Now-
Like everybody says.
At some point,
Yeah.
did you meet someone by the name of Mathew Moore?
Yes.
And how did you first meet Mathew Moore?
Met him
Yes,
with
I would
Emily
totally
at
do that. I'm
Confest
looking forward
in June
to
of
it.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only reason you'd say yes
And
is if you wanted help.
If you know, what was the relationship between Mr. Moore and Emily in 2019 when you first met him?
They were married.
And prior to you meeting Matt, were you aware that the two of them were married?
Yes.
Okay. How did you find that information?
Emily came to visit me, and we in
How much
Detroit
Botox
in
is
August of 2018, and she told me that she was considering getting married to Mathew.
And did you have conversations about that?
Yes.
What'd you say?
When you first met Matt in 2019, you stated that was where?
She was visiting me in Detroit.
When you first met Matt?
I'm sorry. When I first met Matt, it was in Columbus, June 2019.
Okay. And what were your interactions with Matt at that time? How were your interactions with him?
I was uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
I was uncomfortable when we tried to take pictures. He would want to force his way into the picture, and he was
Oh my God, who
uncomfortably
cares? He wanted to
affectionate
take a
physically
picture.
towards me, and
Guilty.
you know, I just met him, so
No, but
I did not feel
Uncomfortably
comfortable.
affectionate.
Oh my
Prior
God.
to-
All right.
That was the first time you physically met Mr.
Yes.
Moore, correct? Did you have any conversation with him prior to that, or is that the very first time you spoke or saw him?
First time I
Okay,
saw
so
her.
he's
spoke
a
to him.
very personal
What were his,
person.
did you witness any interactions between
Is the life
the
of the
defendant,
party.
Mr. Moore, and Emily during that event?
Yeah, I know those
Yes.
people.
And what do you recall about witnessing those
Annoying.
interactions?
Who cares?
He would
That's
interrupt
Oh my
her
gosh,
when
she
she
what I
was
doesn't have a
speaking.
chin.
He seemed to just want to put himself in the middle of us, so that if
Matt, God damn it, atheist! I was about to say that.
I will 100% be saying that next summer. Jamie is uncomfortably affectionate.
I am. Every one of you. I will get so uncomfortable because I am like that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, though.
You're a huggy person.
We're just being like, I know we're joking, but it actually like,
Right.
I mean, I can read the room. I
Right.
know,
Yeah.
But also there are those people.
I know a lot of people like that.
You're
I'm not like I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
if
me.
if you
And
didn't
if
like,
she's like that, that's fine.
yeah, and if you didn't like me, you'd totally be saying this shit. You know what I mean? You'd be like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
it's really weird. But
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
being any sort of way. I'm just being
And
me.
Matt-
Sorry.
Right. I'm not going to go around telling people I think you're offing people because you're a huggy
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And maybe he's trying to be overtly friendly because he's lost all these people in his life, and
Yeah.
he has all this
Right.
grief. So he's
Or
Right.
maybe
Life
he-
is short.
coping.
So life is short. So tell people you love them, you love them.
yeah,
yeah. And maybe in that moment in time, he was just in a good mood and he was trying to be like,
yeah.
he was trying to like, hey,
Trying
she's
to
got
be
a friend over
friendly
here.
with her friends. Yeah.
Or he's trying to get laid that night and was friendly with her friends.
That's not how it works, Sal. We aren't like,
Oh.
you know how you were so great with my friends, like hugging on them and stuff. We're
Yeah.
like,
Oh no! Then he gives her a massage later that night. I mean, he keeps her in a good mood all day.
I
That's
know.
Oh.
I'm just messing with you, but yeah,
Yeah.
like, I'm just messing.
Jamie apparently had that move done on her.
Yeah, like it's not. It doesn't like doesn't get me going.
Okay. Duly noted.
I wanted to sit next to her
You're
or
hitting
be
on
with
my-
her, or he would want to sit or stand in between us.
Were either Emily or Matt drinking during Comfest?
Yes.
What do you call about that?
Matt was drinking
No.
a lot of beer.
No, they
At
are
the
not.
Comfest, they have giant 20-ounce beers.
Free hugs are not
What
a
about
good
Emily?
thing.
She was not.
What about mouth hugs?
Was that the only time you had met Mr. Moore?
Those you have to pay for.
I met him.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was the only time I did
$100.
go to their condo after Comfest and spent time with him there.
During that same time period in 2019?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you recall about those interactions back at the condo?
He was drinking, and I brought some food. Emily and I had planned on going on a trip together. So we had some food, and I cut a big melon, and we were sharing the fruits and snacks that I brought. I did spend some time with him in the morning, and Emily had gone to work very early in the morning so that she could get some hours in at the office before we were going to leave on our trip.
Pause.
So I spent a few hours with Matt
All right,
alone,
hold on.
and
Pause it.
I wasn't entirely comfortable.
Pause it. Pause it.
No, but I mean, like, I just wanted to say this with like not interrupting anything. But like, could you imagine just being friendly with your wife's friends one time in your life, and now they're sitting up here and using that against you? I'm sorry, it's just blows my mind.
Imagine if he'd been rude to
I
them.
like how all of these people, they can talk about every single time that they ever saw him because it's so few. Like you weren't.
Yeah.
Does she have real friends?
And they're like just pumping it up 1,000-fold.
It's just like crazy. I would be like, if I was Matt, I'd be sitting there like, oh my God, I was nice to you one time, ma'am. what is
Right.
wrong with you? And
Look
not
at your
like
face. You're lucky.
super overly nice to me.
The people in this chat know me more than her friends know her.
Yes. None of these people that claim to be her
You're
friends.
all
like,
getting called my trial.
yeah, I don't know.
Oh God.
I do. I feel like I know you guys more than I know. Like,
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I have
I
some
do.
friends, but
I
Yeah,
don't
like,
hang
we
out with
don't
them
know.
much, but yeah.
but
They want
anyways,
to
Or-
like make me leave my home, and no.
well, no, this is more fun.
Yeah.
Right. Now with you guys as friends, I never have to leave home. Yay.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. But yeah, like
my therapist
Was anyone
asked me
else
if I'm
living in
hanging out with people.
condo at that time?
Yes.
And who was that?
Yes.
Matthew's son, Joey.
Okay. Did you have the chance to speak with Joey?
Yes.
And did you see any interactions between Joey and Emily and Matt?
Yes.
What were the interactions like at that time between Joey and Emily?
We were just standing around their kitchen island, eating snacks and, getting to know each other. He was very pleasant. He was kind of sweet. And it was a pleasant time.
Oh no, he was pleasant
And was that
sweet.
the first time you met Joey?
Yes.
Oh, Joey was.
Did you ever see
pleasant.
Joey again after that?
Okay.
No.
Now, you mentioned earlier in your testimony about planning to take a trip. Do you recall that?
This could be any of us.
Tell me a little bit about the trip you had planned and when that was occurring.
We had decided, I wanted to come to Columbus to visit Emily and other friends. And we decided that we would get a cabin in Hocking Hills. So we had several phone calls and emails and text messages trying to determine where we would like to go. So Emily had booked a 5-day stay at the chalets in the Hocking Hills.
Ooh, give me a
And
review.
when you say we, who's going on this trip?
Emily and I.
Okay, so just the two of you?
Yes.
What was the purpose of the trip, if there was one?
I believe Emily had a difficult time.
As to the purpose of the trip.
Well, as to what Emily said, I'll sustain that.
Did you and Emily have a conversation about planning this trip?
Yes.
And was there
And there
a
are
particular
still
state of
people that
mind
think
she
he
gave
did it.
you why she wanted to take this trip with you?
She was
lot of
aggravated
people.
with the responsibilities of dealing with Joey and his mental illness and needed to get away from that.
Okay. And so then this trip was planned to go to Hocking Hills.
Yes. As a girl's getaway.
And how long was this trip supposed to be taking place?
We were supposed to be there for 5 days.
Drinking. I'm not
You
chugging.
said you were supposed to be there for 5 days. Did that change? Did you stay for less time or more time?
We only stayed for one night.
Okay. And can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen jury what happened during that one night that you were there?
Emily received a text message in the morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, after I had prepared breakfast. And the text message she received from Matthew was
Objections to what the text said,
It's the defendant's statement, Your Honor, came from the defendant.
not to law enforcement.
Well,
Not to her.
this
Your
is,
Honor, I believe it.
what are you offering this for?
To explain what happens afterwards, why they could only stay for one night, and secondarily, I don't think it needs to come from law enforcement if it's the defendant's mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, the answer to the question is to provide context as to what she did next. It is not being offered for evidence of the truth of what the text was about. So I want you to understand that. You can answer the question.
What did the text state, ma'am?
Joey is gone. He is dead. He hung himself.
Oh no.
And were
Do you hear the
you
way she
with
says
Emily
it,
when she
too?
received that message?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
she
Yes.
knows
Can
how
you describe what her
upset.
demeanor was like in that moment?
She was in shock, wondering if this was a sick joke or if it was the truth. She was pacing and panicking and wondering what to do. She tried to call Matt, and Matt, dozens and dozens of times, and I tried to call him as well, and he would not answer the phone.
Ma'am.
Based on that information,
His
what
son
did the two of
just
you do next?
died.
Oh my God.
I thought that we should probably
You
take it seriously
selfish
because
bee.
no one would make that kind of a horrible joke. So we packed up, and I'm unable to drive, or else I would have driven. I have epilepsy and I have poor vision, so Emily was stuck with having to drive us home all the way from the very bottom of the Hocking Hills, and it took us several hours to arrive home. And she had to take a lot of breaks to stop and pull off the side of the road so that she could compose herself to be able to drive home safe.
I love the
And eventually, did you get back to the condo?
They're
No, I
using
was
the
dropped off
death
at a friend's house
of
in
his
Bexley.
son to
And,
prosecute him.
Was that the last time you saw Emily Noble
It's
to
alive?
make him look bad.
Yes.
after that time period, did you?
Can you believe he told his wife that their son was gone?
I can't believe it.
And she just
But
confirmed.
the way she said it, like irritates me.
Yeah.
She just confirmed how upset his wife was at losing Joey.
But she said
was obviously
he texted
attached.
her in this
Yeah.
angry tone. Like that's what.
How are you supposed to text somebody that? How do you like?
How do you do an
She's
angry
in the Hocking
tone in it?
Hills. Yeah, you can. I think you can, but he can't call her. There's very little phone service out there.
Yeah.
So he probably couldn't call her. I know the area very well. I live right next to it.
Oh. So it's possible a text could get through, but a phone call would not.
Yes. I can hardly ever call anybody when I'm out there.
Okay.
But you can text, and like if once you hit a certain area, it'll ping in on your phone. But
yeah.
Texting.
No, I was
service.
in an area like that this summer. So yeah, this is
it's
just
very.
And
Like-
she was clearly close to Joey, clearly loved him. And
Well, yeah, she
and
dropped
with
everything
the
and went.
dozen people she knew who unalived themselves, yeah, it's just one more stone to push her over the edge. As sad as it is, but
But like, I would be curious of how close any of these friends are because they do not sound like they know her at all.
no.
No, none of them. That's I wonder if she has better friends. Then they're just not calling him because they have different views on how their relationship was.
Yeah.
Because they're only calling these biddies.
Wait, is
that hung out with her like 3 times.
Is this really Matthew?
What?
In chat.
Oh, maybe. I tagged him.
Oh wow.
Hi, Matt.
It's awesome. Well, we're just getting angry again.
Well, yeah, if it's you, hi, Matt.
We tend to do that when we see people getting railroaded by the state.
Well, yeah, especially when it's like these character witnesses that come in and
Right.
oh, he was so nice to me this one
and that's
time.
what all of these are. All of these are character witnesses.
Exactly.
Even the lady from the restaurant or bar or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's all character. Oh, yeah, they're drinking.
Remain in contact with her.
Yeah.
And how would you remain in contact with her?
Through texts and phone calls and Facebook.
Up to that point, you had still been getting together with Emily at least yearly, if not more than that. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. And did that stop?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know why that stopped?
Objection is speculation.
Well, she can answer yes or no.
Do you know why that stopped? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Did you attempt to schedule meetings or events, things to do with Emily?
No.
Okay. And how often would you speak after that last time you saw her in person?
It was much less frequent than before.
Well,
At some point, did you find out that Emily was missing?
Yes.
And without getting into what you heard or saw, where did you find that information?
On her Facebook page.
When you say
Oh,
on
yeah.
her Facebook page, what do you mean by
Spoilers.
that?
There's a post that said, this is from Matt and Emily's gone missing, and it was a plea for help to find her.
no spoilers.
Sorry if you didn't know.
Did you, based on that information,
A
reach
little
out
bit
to
of a
people, talk
spoiler.
to them?
God's sakes, I'll drink
Pretend
now.
it shows up
I
in your
reached out to
chat.
multiple common friends that we had, begging that, I lived in Detroit and I felt like I couldn't do anything to help find her. So I reached out to multiple friends. And I also made a phone call to Detective Grubbs.
When you say you felt like you couldn't do anything, was that based on your inability to drive or something else?
Yes. I felt like I was helpless other than trying to share the information as it came and ask local people to help find her.
Just one moment, Your Honor. No further questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ross, please.
Does anybody have the link to Matthew's book?
Yeah.
We can post in
I have
chat
it.
because
Let me grab it.
Good morning,
Yeah.
Brandy. Diane Menashe on behalf of Matt Moore. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Got some follow-up questions. I just want to be sure about the timeline.
you do realize I'm about to destroy you.
Comfast in Columbus with Emily and
Yeah.
Matt. I heard you testify on direct that was in June of 2019.
Yes.
And we know Comfast, being from Columbus as well, is always in June during the summertime. Okay, and so the trip with Emily, and let me be clear, that's the first time you met Matt was at Comfest. You just testified to that to this jury, is that right?
Yes.
June of 2019. And Joey dies, kills himself while you're together with Emily.
Yes.
And that's July of 2019.
The Comfest was the last weekend of June every year. And so the day after Comfest is when we went. So that weekend, I believe, was the 28th through the 30th. And I believe Joey passed on the 1st.
And so that's
Trying to
what I
make it
wanted be
sound
clear
like
about
you
for the jury.
knew longer.
Your period of time from meeting Matt for the first time to going to the condo to being with Emily when she hears Joey killed himself is literally a few days.
Yes.
Okay. So you're at Comfest the last weekend in June, 28th, 29th, and then you're in Hocking Hills with Emily on July 1st when she gets the text from Matt, right?
I believe we were there the 30th and the 1st.
Okay. And then you're there with her when she gets this text message, and she drives you home, and then she drops you off at or someone's place in Bexley, and then that's the last time you saw her.
Yes.
Nothing further.
As those areas, and right?
No additional questions, John. Thank you.
Any of you folks have any questions?
I love the jury questions.
Yeah. Oh, you got it. Thank you.
All right, the link should be in both of our chats, I think.
The link to Matt's book. Everybody go check it out.
Yep. It's on Amazon. It's $9.99 if you don't have Kindle Unlimited.
I think that's
if you
the
have
wrong
Kindle
link.
Unlimited, it's free.
I need to start getting.
Yeah, it doesn't like save the links. We'll get it in chat. Just give us a second. Sorry, Matt.
It went to it for me.
Did it? Okay, maybe it updates slow.
It goes to it for me.
Okay, let me double check. Okay, no, it works now. Sorry.
Oh, it didn't.
No worries, Eris.
It didn't post yours. Can you share it in your chat, Sal? It didn't. When I posted
Thank you.
it in the StreamYard, it didn't share.
No worries. Yeah, there is Shelly, I believe. I believe there's an Audible one. Let me.
Matt might be able to answer that if he's still in chat. Matt, is there an audio version for your book? One coming?
And basically, he was bankrupted by the government, forced to spend 18 months to 2 years in jail. Shut up, Lefty. He lost everything. So this is just him trying to recover something, anything.
Right, and
possible.
tell his side of the story as well.
Exactly. Because there are people out there that actually think he did it. And it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's I've seen quite. I went on his Facebook page. They go right to his Facebook page and tell him all.
It's crazy. You can accuse somebody of something and destroy their life in 1 second.
Ma'am, a couple of questions for you. Do you know how old Joey was when you made?
I believe he's 19.
Okay, thank you. When you last saw Emily
It
in
is
June
pretty trendy,
and July of 19,
Shelley.
did you see any bruises on her arms, hands, or elsewhere?
No.
And did Emily attempt to schedule any get-togethers with you after July 1, after the notification of his death?
No.
All right, thank you. What was the nature of your call to Detective Grubbs?
I called him to give him details of when we received the text message that Joey had been missing because
Objection as to why she called? It's a different question.
What did you say to the detective?
I told the detective the details of how Joey was found dead because I was worried that Emily may have been found the same way.
Wait.
Final question.
She just
to you is,
tried to.
Can you explain what made you physically uncomfortable with Matt being affectionate towards you?
Barely knew him, and I felt it was inappropriate.
Is that what?
Sorry,
You
I had myself muted. What did she say?
No, she said, I told the detective the way he died because that's the way Emily died.
So she's trying to
trying to-
insinuate
That he had something to do with it?
his sons now.
Is that, I was just wondering if that's what I heard.
That's what I heard.
I don't know.
Go back real quick.
Okay, hold on. Matt,
oh yeah, I keep forgetting.
Brandon is wondering if there's a way he could buy a bunch of books for you to be able to just hand out to people without using his name.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe.
let us know in chat.
And Shelley would like to know what you think of our bearded monkey icon.
Manichi.
He reminds us of the prosecutor.
The bearded baby.
Sleazy prosecutor.
Yes.
It's the
we decided
prosecutor.
it looks like your prosecutor.
Jesus, yeah. Yeah. We thought that's what he looked like, so.
So C-Sweat found us a picture. Okay, how far back do I need to go?
Well,
Like 10 seconds.
it was just that question.
Okay.
So not too, like a few like 5 seconds or something.
All right. Oh, I went way too far.
You're fine.
I'll just fast forward here a little bit. Oh, I went clear back to this. That's fast. Fabulous.
Do you know how old Joey was when you made?
I believe he's 19.
Okay, thank you. When you last saw Emily in June and July of 19, did you see any bruises on her arms, hands, or elsewhere?
No.
And did Emily attempt to schedule any get-togethers with you after July 1, after the notification of his death?
No.
All right, thank you. What was the nature of your call to Detective Grubbs?
Okay.
I called him to give him details of when we received the text message that Joey had been missing because
Objection as to why she called? It's a different question.
What did you say to the detective?
I told the detective the details of how Joey was found dead because I was worried that Emily may have been found the same way.
So doesn't that
Final
sound
question
like?
for you is, can you explain
Yeah.
what made you physically uncomfortable with Matt being affectionate towards you?
Barely knew him, and I felt it was inappropriate.
All right. Thank you. Any questions from the seat?
Why say something? Ma'am.
Yeah, she
How-
didn't.
No.
Yeah, how dare you?
She was
be nice?
fine with it until she had to come to court.
Yep. Then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, wait, let me pick all these. This one time I met him.
Right.
You were asked about worried that Emily would be found the same way. Why did you feel that way?
There have been people that have said that.
Yeah, that's an opinion, and I think beyond the ken of what the jury needs to know is also saying the objection.
No further questions. Thank you.
Any questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, you may sit down. Thank you very much. Call your next witness.
Just moving forward, the witnesses here, give me 5 minutes, make sure they're out in the hallway, that's one.
Absolutely true. Okay.
1 T, Lefty.
I can't wait till he throws a hissy fit and storms out.
I know, I love that part.
No, this is a sham. I'm not gonna play a part in
I'm
this.
taking my toys and I'm going home.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Oh, for God's sakes. Let me get more.
Say hello, John Craig.
Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
name.
Good Lord.
Oh, I love this. Well, the cross anyway.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please say your name for the record?
John G. Kramer with a K.
Can you spell your last name, please, for us?
Kramer.
And where do you live, sir?
I live at 8 Spring Lake Court, Delaware, Ohio.
And how long have you lived in Delaware?
Been here since December. Moved from Westerville.
And whereabouts in Westerville did you live prior to this?
51 Abbey Cross Lane.
And who'd you live there with?
My father, I was a caretaker for him. He recently passed away at 94. And he had some problems, hips and stuff of that nature. He needed help and assistance.
Okay. And so how long did you live at that Abbey Cross address?
Approximately 8 years.
And so do you remember around about when it was that you moved in there?
No, I don't recall, sir.
Okay. And you said, when did your father pass away?
December of last year.
Last year?
Yes.
And he was 94 years old at the time?
2 days before his 95th birthday.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. So how old was your dad when you moved in with him at Abbey Cross?
Do the math. 25. He was about 87, 88.
Did your dad live at 51 Abbey Cross prior to you moving in there?
Yes.
And how long prior to that did your dad move to that address?
Approximately 15, 20 years prior.
So all told, high 20s, how long your dad lived there, both alone and then the times when you lived there with him?
Right. Pretty much when my mother passed away, I moved in.
Okay. And when did your mom pass away?
In 88.
Would you go and visit your dad there in the neighborhood?
Yes.
And then would you talk to a lot of the neighbors and the people who lived around?
Yes, I was very familiar with the neighbors. During the summertime, my father would go down to the clubhouse and once a week would supply tomatoes he grew.
Okay.
Do you remember meeting a family with the last name Noble?
Yes, sir.
And when did you first meet them?
Well, the mother, about 3 or 4 years ago, she moved in. I talked to Amy and her mother. They coming through looking at condos. She purchased a condo and then was not present a whole lot. She had the whole house refurbished. So I knew Emily's mother and obviously Emily also.
Okay. Do you know what happened to Emily's mother?
Yes, I'm to the understanding she passed away hitting the backside of the semi.
And after Emily's mom died, did somebody else live across the street?
Yes, Emily moved in pretty quick.
Just so we're clear, where was 51 Abbey Cross in relation to the address where Emily was living?
I do believe that was 46. Yes, it was directly across from our condo.
After Emily moved in, how often would you see her?
I would see Emily probably, it depends on the week, but at least 5 or 6 times a week, at least. Quite often I would see her out there working in the yard and we would talk. And whenever there was a storm or clouds moving in, Emily, you'd see her out in the middle of the street taking pictures. She never went anywhere without a phone. She was quite adamant taking pictures of everything.
When was there something that brought you outside of your residence a lot?
Yes, I am presently a smoker, and I smoked out in the garage.
Is that where you smoke all your cigarettes? You didn't smoke inside the house?
I did every once in a while. I did have a hip replacement, a knee replacement, and yes, I did smoke in the house.
Would you say you smoke more often in the garage or inside the house?
In the garage.
And would you see Emily and other people when you were outside smoking in the garage?
Oh, yes. Neighbors walk around there quite often, walk their dogs or just take walks. It's an elderly community, retirement community. And yeah, a lot of people would take walks.
Do you know if Emily smoked?
I seen her with a vape.
Okay. And can you describe what a vape is?
It's an e-cigarette. I don't know much about them. All I see is people taking in the smoke, and either they give a whole bunch of smoke out or just a little bit.
Fair to say not the same kind of thing you smoke?
No.
All right. You smoke traditional cigarettes?
Yes, okay. I'm old school.
All right. Did anyone move into the condo with Emily?
I do believe Joey moved in with them, and Matt Moore moved in with them.
Okay. And who was Matt Moore?
The gentleman placed over here.
Or reflect the witness identify the defendant. You want some more details on?
I do. She do.
Okay, so noted.
Oh, thank you. Did Matt smoke?
Yes.
And do you know what he smoked?
He vaped and he smoked cigarettes.
That makes him guilty.
Oh my God, he's so guilty.
Guess my dad is
So
guilty.
this time frame
as well.
after Matt's moved in with Emily across the street from you. Can you describe Emily for the jury?
Emily was outgoing. Actually, she introduced herself to me, and we became friends then. And we quite readily would talk. Her taking
Maybe
pictures.
just popped in.
Every once in a while, we'd sit out there and shoot the breeze and have a beer. But yeah, very, very nice, outgoing lady. I was supposed to leave to go to Lake Erie shortly before Emily went missing. And my father would go with my sister. And she told me, John.
All right. I know it's about, you can't talk about something that she said to you. Okay. But can you just generally tell me what?
She would look after my flowers.
Okay. She would take care of the place when you were gone.
Right.
Okay. Again, talking about this time frame after the defendant moves in with Emily, before Emily disappears. Can you describe Matt?
Matt didn't come out very often at all. It was normally Emily out working in the yard. Matt really wasn't present for that. I really didn't talk to Matt a whole lot until Emily went missing.
Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that time frame. Do you remember when that was that Emily went missing?
The time frame she left?
Do you remember when that was? When? Remember what date it was that you became aware that
When
she was missing?
left. I like that.
The 24th of May, day after Labor Day.
Remember what year?
It was 2 years ago.
Okay.
What year is it?
In that week or two before that time frame, what, if anything, did you observe
anything?
or
Okay.
hear between Matt and Emily?
Okay,
Yes,
Elaine.
one evening when I was out in the garage smoking, I did hear Emily and Matt very vocal and screaming.
Oh
Sounded
my
like an
God.
argument.
I did
A
not.
married
I don't know
couple
the
had an
particulars, what they
argument?
was arguing about. I didn't want to be a nosy neighbor. I
But
turned
you
around
were.
and went back into the house.
Okay,
So
there-
what was actually said during that argument, I don't know. And
Everyone
Can't
listens
say
to their
anything more
neighbors
on that.
argue. It's the
Where were you
highlight
when
of
you
their
heard that
night.
argument?
I was out in my garage.
Smoking?
Yes.
Arguing about doesn't mean anything. Stop it.
When I talked to you then about, I think you said Labor Day. You mean Labor Day or Memorial Day?
Memorial Day. I flip them back and forth.
No problem. So I want to tell you about Memorial Day of 2020. Do you remember what you did on Memorial Day?
Yes, I got up and I went to Wendy's, went down to Hoover Dam Park, ate breakfast. I came back home and got ready for a party at my sister's house. Excuse me.
And did you go to your sister's house that day?
Yes, sir.
And you
Sir,
mentioned
did you know cigarettes are
taking
bad
your
for you?
breakfast to Hoover Dam Park.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
I enjoy fishing. I go up to Lake Erie quite often and fish. And I enjoy watching people actually catch fish. So I sit at the picnic
You
table
enjoy
and
watching people catch fish?
watch people around me in the park
What?
fishing. I would
Nobody
go to the end
enjoys
of,
seeing somebody else catch
basically
a fish.
Polaris.
You're pissed.
And,
You want to
they
catch
have a
the
park
fish
there.
yourself.
So
You're
I would drive
angry.
down there and have my
Your
breakfast.
line's been in the water for 3
then return
hours.
home.
And then
How
these
many days a week
bags who've been there for
would you
20
say you
minutes
were
catch
taking your
one.
breakfast and going out over there?
Yeah, at least 4.
What a weirdo.
Do you have a time
Oh,
normally
look,
when
they're
you'd be
doing
doing
better
that?
than me.
No.
Just whenever you decide to go get breakfast.
Wake up and I'm ready for breakfast, have my father all situated, and yeah, I take off and get some me time.
When you were getting up in the mornings and going to breakfast, would you see Emily?
Sometimes, rarely. Normally when I was coming back, I might see her out in the yard doing different things. She was an early bird.
Well, fishing shows are one thing, Lefty.
You
But,
said
like,
you
when you're
went to your
out there with
sister's
a
house
line
on
in the
Memorial
water,
Day
not
2020?
catching anything.
Yes.
And where's your sister live?
And some idiot
She
is
lives in
fishing,
the area of Cook.
and their kids
and
throwing
71.
rocks into the lake,
And
and they catch one in 20
do you remember what
minutes.
time you came back
Does
from your
this
sister's
happen
house?
now? Is this a personal experience?
Yeah, 6-ish.
It may or may not
6:30,
be.
quarter till 7.
And do you remember anything unusual when you came back to your
Or
house?
the other time you're
Yes,
trying to
when I
fish and the
returned
guy's
home, I
kid
noticed
throws rocks around and
police
hits you in the
cruiser
head.
in front of
That
Emily and
happened to
Matt's
me.
condo.
And what did you do
Yes,
then
I
when you
was
saw that?
fishing and
Well,
somebody's
I pulled
kid
in,
threw a rock.
And before
At my
I could get my
And
father
didn't even
out,
apologize.
and me, the officer came over and he asked me if I seen Emily.
15
And
years
I
later, I'm still
asked,
pissed.
You know, what's going on? And he told me she was missing, which kind of put a shock on me right there.
Okay, I'm
And
sorry.
he asked me if I
We need to
seen her.
focus on this.
And what'd you say?
And originally I said, yes, I talked to her last night. And I think I may have saw her. Well, no, I didn't say I think. I said I saw her between 9:30 and 10. Now,
Yeah,
as
it
I
sounds
brought my
like you're
father
really
into the
sure.
home-
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Hold on a second. So I'm
I
back here. So
think. Wait, no, I didn't.
you
say
said that you
No,
had
no, no,
seen
no.
Emily the night before.
Yes,
You
we
told
talked
me
a
not to
little
say
bit.
I think.
And what do you,
You told me to be sure.
not going into what you discussed, just what do you remember about seeing Emily the night before?
It's hello, how you doing? And she's would return. She goes, well, I'm going on a walk, John. And I said, well, you have a good time, Emily. And I returned into the house.
Do you remember anything specifically about what she was wearing when you saw her?
No, but I'm sure it was black.
And why do you say that?
She constantly wore
Racist.
black.
Wait. How do you say?
I think she
no?
owned one pair of blue jeans. I've seen her in one time.
But I'm sure.
But
You know the
when
kind
she's
of
wearing something
paperwork-
different or colorful, that you notice that.
Okay. So you saw her the night before, and then told the officer that you had seen her that morning, the same morning that officers were at the condo.
Yes,
And make sure I understood. You said that you believed you saw her between 9:30 and 10 o'clock.
correct.
After you had that conversation with the officer, what did you do next?
I took my father in, got him
Christ's sake.
situated. During that time, I started thinking, and I see Emily almost every day. And I'm like, was this morning? Was it yesterday? It could have been a couple days later. I was not 100% positive I seen her. I am 60 years old, and sometimes our memory does fail. So I went back to the officer and told him that I'm not positive. That
But he remembers everything
seen
else
her
we did
this
that
morning.
day.
But I know I seen her last night because we talked, and he asked me to repeat it. I told him again, and he acknowledged it.
Did you, skipping ahead a little bit, did you talk to other officers?
Yes, I am
on
drinking.
the phone or in person
Okay, happy?
throughout the investigation?
Yes,
And did
Detective
you-
Grubbs.
And did you communicate that same information to them about not being sure if you saw her the morning of Memorial Day?
Yes, I communicated that with Detective Grubbs and Amy,
And when you say Amy, just so we know, who are you talking about?
Emily's sister.
After Memorial Day, when you came home and the officers were there, did you have any conversations with Matt?
Yes, I did.
And do you remember what the first conversation was you had with him after that?
Well, as I was talking to the police officer and gave the timeline of when I seen Emily, I don't know what Matt told the police officer, but as soon as I mentioned, it was dusk, I don't have an exact time. The officer got out and confronted Matt. Now, what was?
What I want to talk about is your interactions with Matt. I want to talk about any of the law enforcement. So let's go beyond that day, beyond Memorial Day.
We was at that time we was talking. As a police officer left, I do believe, I'm not positive. He made statements like, "Oh, she's just mad, and she'll be back here in a couple of days. She'll be walking in this door." And I'm like, okay. Still have an open mind then.
So after that day, did you have any interactions with Matt?
Yes. The following day, I was out in the garage smoking. Matt came over and asked me if I could buy, I was going to Kroger's anyways, buy him a fifth of, Jack Daniels and a pack of cigarettes. And he then told me,
Is that
I'll buy
because
you
you
a
shaved
carton
your
if you
head?
do this for me. And I'm like, at $80, I'm not going to do that. And then he said, I'll give you $20. And I did take the $20, and I gave him the change afterwards.
Did you go and buy the booze and cigarettes?
Yes, with his money.
I'm not convinced.
And what'd you do after you purchased them?
I returned home and gave it to him. He thanked me.
And where did you give it to him?
At his door front. I knocked on his door and he opened his door for me.
For sure.
Did you make any observations at that time?
Yes. I noticed cigarette smoke in the house, which really depressed me.
And why was that, sir?
Again, what is
That's
it?
when I started thinking Emily's not coming home.
Oh Lord.
Why did cigarette smoke make you think that?
Because Emily would not allow anyone to smoke in the house.
How do you know?
She's a pet peeve with cleaning, keeping everything in order, and she always wanted her place of residence in very good shape and would not allow people to smoke in her house.
You don't know that.
So that led to the conclusion,
Right.
he knows she's not coming back.
I'll sustain that statement. Juries to disregard that comment.
Or maybe he's angry at her because
For
he
that,
thinks she left
interaction when she smelled smoke
and
inside the condo.
is smoking.
Maybe he's just
Maybe is a-
stressed out.
Or he's stressed out. Yeah, there's like so many explanations. Oh my God.
Right.
Oh, I know. Because my mom smoked. She smoked my whole life in our house, and I get it. But I'm just saying, like, for somebody
Yeah.
outside of that relationship or that interaction,
Like
saying something like that, that's ridiculous to
how
me.
much do you talk to someone to like understand the dynamics?
Well, was he ever in her house? Did they establish
They haven't
that he
said
was
that.
ever?
Yeah, and
How would you
also
know?
I didn't hear. I mean, I heard the neighborly stuff, but like this close relationship where she would be like, "I would never let anybody smoke in my house." For him to say
Right.
she would never, because I knew she wasn't coming back because she would never. How do you know that?
Yes, Shelly. Like he could be mad at her for leaving, or he's nervous, and you smoke a lot when you get like that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah, and if you're stressed out, then you're chain smoking.
but to say he's doing it in the house because she's
because he did something to her.
Yeah,
That's
and,
a complete conclusion. I mean,
Yeah.
a complete speculation.
and that she would never allow that. How do you know?
Yep. There's a lot of feelings.
And even if that's true that she wouldn't want that or allow it, maybe he's stressed
wow.
or just pissed off at her and
Well, yeah,
for
maybe
leaving. Hey,
in a couple times, you
yeah,
know.
he doesn't know where she is.
he didn't even really like. He might not even been smoking in the house.
I mean, he could have been. I mean, when you smoke, it's on your clothes too. Like it could be
Right.
just walking around. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, was he in their house? How did he know he was smoking
Yeah,
in the
how
house
did he
and
know
not
he
like
was smoking in the home? Yeah, that's what I mean.
in the backyard?
Just so stupid. See, it's the stupid remarks that piss me off.
Yeah, if he's drinking, he.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Did you have other interactions with Matt?
Very true, though.
Not really, especially after that. He did come over at one time, and my father answered the door, and he asked if I was home and if I would like to go shooting with him. And my father told him I was not there.
Okay. If it's not something that you didn't have that conversation, I don't want to get into it. Okay. I want to talk about, did you specifically interact with Matt?
No.
Matt came over and asked my dad if I was home and could come out and play.
Did you see anyone else come to visit the condo after Emily's business?
Yes, there was a gentleman, I
He
do
wanted to
believe it
play
was one
with
of Joey's
QPs.
friends.
Guilty.
And he would come over usually on Tuesdays or Thursdays. And what they was doing, I don't know.
Then your testimony is irrelevant, sir.
But they would. And it seemed quite regularly. But then all of a sudden, about 2 months into it, he quit showing up.
Were you aware if there were any efforts to try to locate Emily going on? Any search parties that you were aware of?
Oh, yes.
And can you tell us, did you have any interaction with those search parties?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do?
I went to the sign maker and had some
You're all in
enlarged
trouble.
signs. I do believe they was 2 foot by 3 foot, and put it on County Line and Westville Road. And these signs were large enough so people could read them
Yeah, go send
and
to
see
Matt,
Emily's
you can-
picture. I did purchased
Shelly,
3 of those.
Can you send me that in
I
Discord?
placed one there, and I placed one in front of the condo, which only lasted a day or two.
Okay. You put one out in Westerville, one in front of your condo, and anywhere else you put a sign?
The third one I gave away to one of Emily's friends, and where she placed it, I have no idea.
Oh yeah, there was one. A juror did speak out.
Yeah, with potentially criminal Sean.
Did
Oh, was it?
Matt did an interview with.
you ever see Matt in any of the
He brought
search
on a
parties?
juror.
No, I did not.
Oh, interesting.
It was really cute. You should. It was really cute. It was really
Maybe
good.
I saw it.
Other than
it's horrible.
talking about
But
somebody
no,
who you thought
maybe
might
I-
have been Joey's friend, Do you remember any
Vaguely remember
other
that.
visitors that stood out to you in the condo across the street?
I would see, at one time there was a couple of vans out there, which was out of the ordinary. And his father would come over. Other than that, no. At one time, there was a party out in the driveway with some boy playing a guitar, and it was a little party. And to my understanding, it was celebrating Joey's birthday.
I thought one more.
Sal, are you texting me while we're sitting right here in the same?
Did you?
Yes. Because you were texting earlier.
Oh, yes.
God, that was like 10 minutes
Quite
ago.
often. I could
Well,
say
why
almost
wasn't you using my phone?
once a day.
I just
And,
came out here to hit that link Shelly sent
Were
me.
you able to observe when she went on those walks whether or not she had her phone with her?
She always had her phone. Every time I was around here.
And the other question I have, I want to make sure I understand the time frame. When was it that you smelled smoke inside the condo?
Oh, just because he
When did
smelled
I?
smoke
Yeah, when-
inside?
Yes, during the time of my knee and hip replacement.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm not talking about you smoking inside your condo. I'm talking
Okay.
about when you smelled smoke
Yeah, you
in
idiot.
46 Abbey Cross in that condo.
Okay, I have never smoked in the condo. I knew Emily would not allow that.
And so when was it that you smelled smoke in there?
The day after Emily went missing, when he told me, asked me to get him a bottle of Jack Daniels, a fifth to be exact, and a pack of
Oh.
Marlboro. I call them Reds. So they'd be regulars.
And so that
If
was
he
the
was
day
smoking
after.
in there, why
law
didn't he just
enforcement-
go in and get it himself?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
He smokes Marlboro Reds. Guilty.
And
Yeah.
a fifth of Jack.
John, how are you this morning?
I'm just fine, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Diane Menashe on behalf of Matt Moore.
I just
We've never
love
met
her.
before,
No, we haven't.
but you have met with my investigator before. Have you not? Came to your house on December 19th of 2020, when you still lived at 51 Abbey Cross. Do you remember that?
I remember a gentleman coming in. I'll call him a child, but
Well,
a
I
young
will tell you
adult.
said that.
Yeah, a young adult.
Yeah, a young adult came in, and I think you let him in, and he asked you some questions about, very similar to what the prosecutors asked you about.
Correct.
About the day that Emily went missing.
Correct.
And you were kind enough to let him in and answer the questions. I'm going to ask you about that, but I just wanted to jog your memory there if we can. Let's go back to the night before Emily went
I
missing.
do appreciate him
You
talking to the
remember
defense
speaking with her
investigator.
at 8 p.m., do you not?
You know, I cannot give an exact time. It was dusk.
And dusk, we're talking Memorial Day weekend, right? So sort of, well, obviously.
Yeah, it would be in the 8 o'clock range, give or take 15 minutes.
And it wouldn't surprise you to know then that you had told officers it was 8 p.m.?
I do believe I used the word dusk.
And so dusk it is.
Okay.
And so you saw Emily on the night before, and you spoke to Emily that night at dusk.
Yeah.
You had a
Yes, I
conversation.
did.
And she said that she was just going to go out and go for a walk, as
Yeah.
you recall.
Yes.
And that wasn't unusual for Emily. I think you just told us your Emily went
No.
for a walk every day.
No.
And so I want to talk then about, so we know that you had the conversation with the walk, and then the prosecutor asked you about Memorial Day itself and how you began that. And I think was it McDonald's or Wendy's? My fault.
Yeah, I go to Wendy's and then I sometimes McDonald's.
Okay.
I change it up a little bit.
And so you go to one of those and you get breakfast, and then you go to Hoover.
Correct. I go to a park.
And sort of that's something that you do. I heard you say maybe 4 or so times a week.
Oh, yes.
And as you remember, I'm sure the weather was good that weekend.
Yes,
It was warm and clear. It wasn't rain. It was one of those Memorial Day weekends where we actually didn't have rain.
you're right.
And so you go to Hoover Dam, and as you told the jurors, you're kind of people watching or watching people fish.
Yeah, watching them fish. Families enjoying themselves.
Sure, because it was a holiday, and so people were out enjoying themselves.
Correct.
And then you go to your sister's for a bit on Memorial Day.
Oh yeah, it was there. We had.
Sir, were you in Breaking Bad?
Sat around for a little bit afterwards. My sister.
Oh no.
Brother-in-law.
Sorry, were you in Lost, sir?
And me.
And you remember that time and event and who was
Sir,
there.
did you think the
Yes.
sixth
And
season
then as you
really
come
sucked
home,
of Lost?
You pull into Abbey Cross and you
I mean,
see
what was
that
that?
cruiser sitting
Really
in front of 46 Abbey Cross.
Correct.
And that wasn't hard to miss because of that
Oh, for
the
fuck's
houses
sakes,
are so
Brandon.
close.
Right.
And that street's not particularly wide, is it?
No, it's not.
And so as you pull in and before you even, do you pull into the garage?
No, I didn't. I pulled into the driveway. It's kind of difficult to get my father out of the car sometimes. So I pulled in later.
Okay, so you just pulled up onto that the cement there that's in front of
Right,
your
the
driveway.
approachway.
And before you could let your dad out, the police officer approaches you.
Correct.
And heavy set, black male. That was the officer that approached you. Is that correct, John?
Correct.
Would you have that's sound like a good description of him?
Yes, I could pick him out of the lineup.
Okay, because your memory's good like that. So tell me, the officer comes up to you and asks you, does he not?
Yeah,
when is the
it was a
last time
fat
that you
black
had seen
guy.
him?
Correct.
And you tell him that you had seen her that morning, you thought at 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yes.
And at that time, John, that's the very first time in your driveway when that heavyset black officer asks you, when is the last time that you've seen Emily? You said 9:30 to 10 a.m. today.
Yes, 9:30 to 10.
Right.
Correct.
And then you testified as to later, you went back to the other officers and you said now that you had taken your dad inside,
Yes.
had some
Getting
time to think.
situated.
So some time passed and you went back out and you told the officer that you weren't 100% sure. Is that right?
I said I wasn't. Yeah, I don't say 100%. I said I am not sure because I see Emily almost every day, and almost every day she's wearing black, and I'm not positive it wasn't the day before.
Okay. And when she's always wearing black, she was always wearing tennis shoes, wasn't she, John?
I really didn't notice that part.
Oh, you didn't notice her shoes. Did she, like when she was going for walks in May, she would kind of wear that tank top, wouldn't she, with like the straps on it? You remember that?
I remember
Black.
the outfit.
Okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, an outfit. I remember her wearing that at one time or another.
Okay.
To say she was wearing that at that time, no.
Okay, and she would always just wear something that was black.
Yeah.
And so then I want to fast forward to when my investigator came and talked to you, and you let my investigator and again asked you about when you saw Emily last. And you told the investigator, did you not, about seeing her the night before Memorial Day? And you remembered that because you talked to her, and it was around dusk or 8 p.m., right?
Right.
And then when my investigator asked you, how sure were you that you had seen her the same morning she went missing, you told my investigator, did you not, on December 19th.
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach? Sure.
Like so quick. Oh, this guy.
Because it's devastating to my case.
It just sounded so funny to me when he said it the way he said it. He's like, I get breakfast and then I go to the park and watch everybody else have fun.
I enjoy looking at the children of the families.
Watch the families have fun. Like it's like 1 minute you want to be like, oh, that's kind of sweet, and then it's like, oh, but that's kind of sad too. Like, I don't know.
Oh, she's
I
most
just-
definitely not a public defender.
I'm never gonna watch somebody else watch somebody.
Hey, that's okay.
She's probably one of the best lawyers in the country.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Judge. Sorry, John, let me pick up where I left off. And you know what? Let me step back because I want to make sure for the jurors. At no point since, do you remember his name being Officer Hollis, the heavier set black male?
I'm terrible with names, and no.
Fair enough.
Don't fat shame the guy.
From the moment the officer approached you, you pulled into your driveway to today, fair to say you've never written a handwritten statement about what you recollect seeing.
No, I have not.
Okay, so you have
Depends on
been,
the
you
case, I
were
guess.
interviewed or asked some questions by the black male officer.
Correct.
Right when you pulled in. And then you subsequently have talked to Detective Grubbs. Is that fair?
Yes, I have talked to Detective Grubbs
Sure.
on numerous occasions.
And then, and taking us forward, and then there's this conversation with my investigator when you, and I being nicely let my investigator in and talk to them about what you remember as well, right?
I do believe the guy said he's representing a company.
Everybody's blue.
Ready Investigations. Do you remember that, sir?
I had the card at home.
Perfect. He left you his card. So I just want to make sure that there's not a written statement of yours anywhere.
No.
Okay. So, and then let me go back to where I was, John. When you asked, my investigator was asking you about the conversation with Emily the night before, and then on Memorial Day, seeing her at 9:30, 10 a.m., and he asked you, did he not, how sure you were? And you remember telling my investigator that you were 90% sure.
No, I don't recall.
Okay, fair enough. One moment, Your Honor. You talked about a young man, Joey's friend, that was at 46 Abbey Cross, kind of in the days that followed. Do you know that boy or man, young man?
Yes.
Yes, to be Cameron Kissel?
I don't recall. I was told his name a couple times by Amy.
Okay. And would it surprise you to know, or
It was one of Joey's friends.
and let me describe it, maybe that'll help. He kind of had curly, light brown hair, tall, not, but like skinny
Yeah.
kid. And if you remember, because like you're right across the street, did he drive a Volvo, John?
It was an odd looking car. It stood out. Very well could have been.
Okay. And so it was that young man that we're talking about that was at the house for the month or two after Emily went missing.
Yes.
And you remembered him being Joey's friend.
Yes.
And it would surprise you to know that he was there doing searches with Matt for Emily?
No.
Okay. All right. And Cameron Kissel, how many conversations have you had with Cameron? Or the man that you saw at the house, the young man that would go there that was Joey's friend?
Oh, okay.
Did you ever talk to him, John?
One time when I placed a large poster in front of the condo, him and Matt came over and Matt wanted to thank me and he was just going, oh, thank you so much, John. Covering his eyes, one tear in his eyes. And he went out to embrace me, but it's COVID. And I did not want to embrace him at that time. Not just because of COVID, is because I was upset.
I understand. And there's not a question as to why you didn't want to embrace Matt. I just wanted to know that if you had a conversation with the man that you say was Joey's friend, that you would see at the house with Matt.
Yes, I do believe Matt introduced him.
Okay. So at some point, he's introduced you. I want to go back to how many times have you talked to Detective Grubbs since your very first conversation with the heavier set black male officer?
Yeah, I would say maybe 6 times. I would let him know when something suspicious, something out of the abnorm would show up across the street. Like I said, I smoke in the garage, and when I see something out of place, I would call him.
Yeah, and you have his cell phone number, do you not? So you can just call the detective directly?
It rings into the office.
Okay. And then was there times when he would call you back and you would tell him things that you would see, would you not?
Yes.
Yeah. Like the one time you called him and you said you thought there was this black suspicious car there, and you even gave Detective Grubbs the license plate. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I've given him a few license plate numbers.
And so you look out there and then you see the license plate and then you provide those to Detective Grubbs.
Yes, that turned out to be his father's car.
So one of the cars that you thought was suspicious was actually his own father's.
Yes.
Just want to make sure this testimony that you gave the jurors about the 5th that Mr. Moore had you buy. And I know you've never written a handwritten statement, right?
No, I haven't.
Okay. And you've no recorded statement.
No.
Interesting. This way.
I presume that's something that you would have told to Detective Grubbs in all those at least 6 times. Would you not have?
I did talk to Officer Detective Grubbs. Yes, I did.
You did.
I did. And I told Amy also.
And so you would have told Detective Grubbs that information?
Yes, I would have.
And what date did you tell Detective Grubbs that information?
I do not recall.
John, I asked this just kind of as a person, and I think you said you were 60, but I don't say it to
No, that's fine.
I'm about to turn 49, so I'm not far behind you, John. Would you agree with me, though, just based on your experience, that memory doesn't get better with time?
No, it does not.
Nothing.
Once again, we have a sleazy little.
I just posted it in private chat.
Yeah, I just
think
pulled
that-
it up on my thing.
Do you think that's him? I do. It could be, but
Yeah, it is, I think. Hold
It
on,
has
I gotta wait
hair.
till he's back on the screen.
no charges posted yet. It's in Ohio.
No questions, I think.
All right, thank you.
I can't
Any
remember where he
questions from
said he
panel?
moved to. Delaware County, yeah. and he's 62.
62 years young.
Yep, that's him.
Wow.
Oh, how the
Hold on a second,
turntables
let me-
turned.
Turntables
Let me-
have fun.
Oh, how the tables
Before
have
we
turned.
get to the jury questions.
Yeah, but it's like, hey, could you keep watch on his
Luna, babe?
like? That's so.
This is Kravitz.
so
Probably for voyeurism. Hey, you. How are you doing, dear?
Hi, you.
Hey.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, blue, gray is his hair. I mean,
It looks like him.
Yeah, it's the right age and stuff, and it's the right.
I mean,
county,
he's still
so.
okay. So he can still grow hair. Why would he shave? This
I
guy's
think it just-
weird.
Why? Don't be a buzzkill, Lefty.
All our tentacle hentai.
There's only one we don't want to see.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Sure,
Oh.
sure.
My D porn.
No, he's
Oh.
superhero stuff.
Oh,
Sir.
you're soaking.
It doesn't say yet what he.
Yeah. We're gonna have to keep
no.
an eye on this.
Yeah, we are.
I don't know
No
yet.
charges posted yet. I could
Probably
look it up
making
in the thing, but
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
I'll put it up and I'll pull up the
Uh,
counties.
Yeah,
Coochie Mood Jigger.
Delaware County.
Stop screen. That's what I was thinking. It probably is a Dewey.
Yeah, probably.
I was thinking voyeurism or like
Oh,
approaching family fishing and trying to hit on their kid.
Oh yeah, watching creepily watching.
Yeah.
all right, we're almost done. It's almost lunchtime, and then I think we'll wrap her up for
Yeah.
the day, so Grandpa can get to bed.
Well, I'm gonna do a few minutes on EUs, but yeah, I'm wrapping. I'm getting really tired.
Yeah.
Been a day.
I didn't sleep much because a certain cat was waking me up at 2 a.m.
Kiss at the cat.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put boxes in front of the mirrors so he couldn't scratch the mirrors and go screech, 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 screech. So what instead he did is go on the box like rah, 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 with the box and start like moving it around. Jesus Christ. Like this cat, whatever I do, he outsmarts me.
Of course he does. It's a cat.
It doesn't take much.
Distant. He then goes at my door. Scratch, 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 scratch.
Yeah. Anybody that doesn't have a cat, if you try to shut a door on them, they will ruin your life.
He started just like bopping on it, biting it, and then like moving it around, making noise. Yeah, I'm working on that, Eris.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think he's passive aggressive because he does it at the same time every night. And he learned it.
Sometimes you make me feel the same way.
I know. Yeah. I don't leave her satisfied.
Like
It's certain.
cat's like, You know what? It's about time. Hey, guys, you gotta go F with dad.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Is it?
What?
It's not sharing the sound, is it?
No, it's not, sweetie.
Okay. Well, hold on.
It was paused.
Was it paused?
Yeah. I mean,
it's playing on mine.
That would explain why there's no sound.
Oh
well, it was. Hold on. Oh, it was okay. It's playing. It wasn't paused. They're just getting the jury question still. That's what it was doing.
Stuck on that face. That's why I thought it was paused.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't. It was just them. Hold on. Let me find the right tab. All right. They're just getting the questions still.
Can you believe this bullshit?
Right? There we go.
I knew this guy was a narc.
Yeah, he was though. Like scoping out his house and stuff. It's weird.
Sir, I have a couple questions for you. Sure, you'd like to ask you.
Yes, you go.
No particular order here.
Are you a
where was the
lawyer?
sign placed in front of the condo? Was it your condo or across the street?
It was my condo. Well, it was my father's condo.
Right. But we understand. It's where you
Okay.
live.
Yes.
And
We
why did
understand
the
you're
sign in
sucking
front of
up
the
to him
condo
to
only
get
last
the
a day?
inheritance.
It was a day or two. Somebody complained about the sign, so the condo community asked me to take it down.
Okay. And do you recall the date that you heard the argument between Matt and Emily that you
I
retreated from?
have no date, especially being 2.5 years old.
Fair enough.
No, I do not.
Okay.
I do believe it was about a week and a half to 2 weeks prior to her going missing.
Doesn't mean anything. God.
Have you had occasion to meet someone by the name of Celeste Groen? Name sound familiar to you at all?
You know, I'm terrible with names, but I've been involved in the walks and stuff of that nature, and I may very well have.
Okay.
There it is.
You testified that you had seen Emily around dusk the evening before the police came out. What was her mood at that time when she was going to go for the walk?
It was normal to me. I can't say she was overwhelmed or excited, but in the same part, it wasn't. If she's down, she doesn't converse that much.
But she was normal.
She seemed normal to me.
Okay, fair enough. When you had indicated in your testimony that you had heard the two of them arguing sometime, did you ever hear them arguing before that time?
Oh.
No, I have
So
not.
this is the only occasion you heard. Is that the answer?
Correct.
Okay. And
it was very loud.
Right, the time you testified to.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was the only time.
Right.
Okay. Had Matt or Emily ever asked you to purchase anything like that in the past that you indicated Matt had asked you to purchase? Had that ever been requested before?
No, I work for a Budweiser company, and I was able to get free beer. And
He drinks Bud Light.
I brought over and would leave on the doorstep.
But not at their request.
Not at their request.
That was your choice.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. There is any questions for the state?
Yeah, thank you.
Defense?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You may sit down.
Have a lunch break?
Yeah, you want to do that now? Okay, yeah, it's high noon. I'll let Mr. Kramer exit here before I start chatting with you.
Hi, David.
All right, folks, we're going to take our noon break. Remember, the court's admonition back in 1 hour. Start up at 1. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm gonna stop that then. And what did he? Hold on, I want to see something.
8 Spring Lake Court, Delaware, Ohio.
Spring Lake Court. Sal, what was it you said? Yeah, Sal, what was it that you said
About?
his booking?
Delaware County.
Yeah, no, I found it.
Oh,
It's for stalking. He actually has a he has a little bit of a rap sheet, so with some domestic
What's his rap sheet?
I'll send it to you. I'm not trying to get myself in trouble by but I'll send you a screenshot at
Okay.
I found all of it. There's a few things on there for Mr. John G.
Oh my.
Oh,
Is he a naughty boy?
Listen, Valhalla. It's public record. He said his address in open court.
yeah, we're entitled to peek at him.
And don't accuse somebody
No,
else of doing shady
I
stuff
found it
because
as
they
well.
smoked in their condo.
Oh, I know.
And expect people not to come back and say, "Oh, listen, look what you've done, sir."
Yeah, and then sitting outside his house.
Yeah, I just found it as well.
Calling the detective, going, "There's a black."
It's only civil stalking.
Exactly.
Oh, and a petition for civil stalking protection order.
Yep.
Civil stalking instructions for service.
Please.
Civil stalking magistrates order scheduling ex parte hearing at 9 a.m.
I know. I wonder if that's going to be. When is it? Or did it already happen?
Yeah, it already happened yesterday, I think.
Shoot.
But it's civil. Okay, it's only civil, I think.
Well, still.
Only.
Yeah, only. Yeah. Oh, scheduled for full hearing on Monday, October 9th. Maybe I can find it. I'm going to look into it.
See what it's all about.
Think he's calling Diane to defend him?
He should.
And Excited Utterance is going to be going live after this.
Yep. I think right at 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Chandler Halderson. So make sure you head over there. Jamie, you have an invite, I hope, if you're available.
I gotta make some din.
Okay.
I know. I need to go cook some food and
let the poopers out.
So
they hate when I stream all day because they're just sitting here like, you son of a bee. Feed us. Let's go outside.
I think that's the one. There we go. All right, you want to grift your stuff there, Salvador?
Yeah, my channel is Dali Talk. Currently covering the Purse House case with Excited Utterance. I believe it is going to be closing arguments tomorrow. I don't know how much Mo is going to do in the morning, but I'll do something tomorrow with her, Excited Utterance. And then probably Thursday, we can do more of this. Friday, I think Nick is doing a Zachariah Anderson fundraiser stream.
Yeah, he's doing a chat-based for share everything. So,
okay.
So Friday evening again, and whenever he starts that off.
And
Gotcha, girl.
But yeah, and then I'm gonna be on Excited Utterance's Chandler Halderson stream right after this for a little bit. And then Jamie
has her lashes.
Yes.
And me and Baker we have the closings tomorrow and the hair trial. Other than that.
And if you can make you're invited, both of you, for whatever I do tomorrow with EU.
Yeah.
All right.
Love to have you.
Yeah, just
I'll send you a link.
Oh, wrong button. All right. Ready?
Oh, and this weekend I will resume Pains of Our Lives.
Yay!
And yes, I am going to be watching the D-backs game tonight.
Hello, doggies. They've been pretty quiet today.
Yes.
Well, every time the Amazon thing dings, they think someone's here. I don't know.
Nice. All right. We'll see everybody next time. I think, what did you say? Thursday?
Yeah,
And,
I think
okay.
so.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.